What's up, y'all? It's your boy Aniki coming at you with another Church of MHA episode, season 5. Episode, what is this, 4, 5? I don't know. We've had a lot of breaks since the start of this year, unlike usual. Uh, but I hope everybody's been doing well. It's been a while. Uh-oh. All right. We're still here. Uh, we left off at a pretty exciting juncture with the second user basically saying, I'm trying to get out of here, bro. I'm done with this. You still talking about saving, little bro? Just throw my quirk at him and be done with this. No, I'm not trying to hear this no more. All right, that may not be exactly how he said it, but that's kind of what happened. So, we're here. Deku's puppeteering his own body with Black Whip. We know Banjo's going to be the last one, assuming he needs to send all of them out. May decide that that's not necessary. What I'm interested in is if this will lead to a destruction of the quirk repository within Shigaraki, because that's what I'm hoping. Is that the more bullets of his that Deku fires off, the more damage to the quirk factors within Shigaraki. We saw that New Order was able to do the same thing. What up, Jay? Michael Holmes, Sino 4, Trippy Manga, Alves. I can't believe you done this, Cameron Bailey, and Tiger Blaster. Glad y'all here. This chapter is very peak. I think it's because of the 2 week break, so people weren't talking about it like that. Made it real easy to not even get like hints of the chapter existing on the timeline and stuff like that. People just weren't talking about it like that, which, you know, for me is a good thing because I have plenty of mute shields. And since other stuff got through, or other shows and other series still have spoilers coming out, those people getting arrested clearly didn't do anything to stop the leaks currently. Maybe it will, but as of right now, it has not. Um, but yeah, I think I'm going to just go ahead and start the chapter because people are filing in. And hey, Tunisia, uh, just see what's cooking. What's Horikoshi cooking this week? 414, named after my city. No, that's just the next number in the sequence, but let's go. Oh, okay. Look at Horikoshi knowing he took a 2 week break and half his viewer fandom can't read. Respect. Summary so far. Beating Shigaraki would mean winning the war. Unfortunately, pitting strength against strength is a losing prospect when facing a villain's overwhelming decay and regeneration. Hence the second's last-ditch proposal to transfer One for All to Shigaraki and thereby to strike at the existing star in his inner spirit. Now Deku has summoned the resolve to split or part ways with the power he inherited. Man, got this man looking. He's using Black Whip to force his beaten, busted up body to keep moving. He's instantly putting to use an idea he came up with in the heat of battle. What a wild way to utilize that quirk. So you got Banjo being impressed, this N looking terrified, and Kudo being like, that's perfect. I love that he's on demon time. This is the kind of energy we need out of him. Murderous intent. No matter what happens to me, that's what this power is for, that flashback. Hey, little genie. Yeah, little baby noises. Oh. No? All right. Eh. All right. He's not driven by duty, rather, his respect and admiration for quirks on the whole. Yeah, respect and admiration. Make One for All shine even brighter. Let me see. He's got the Otto Octavius arms coming out the back. He's got Black Whip all of. I'll have to cope with Shigaraki's speed without using without the use of the second's gear shift. I'll be delivering the second to him full on. This gamble is all we've got left. To transfer one for all to the person you want to receive it, it has to take in some of your DNA. Doesn't really matter what it is you eat as long as you get my DNA. One for all can only transfer if its holder wills it to. It can be given to an unwilling recipient. Bruce and I came up with that theory and put it into practice. Man, this brings back memories. Long past our own deaths, we're still beholden to our duty. Blood will serve as the transfer agent when it enters an open wound. But thanks to Shigaraki's regen, his wounds don't last for long. The only viable option is the moment of impact. I'm barely conscious after the recoil from gear shift, but I've got to land this next hit precisely. All right. Let's see. During that last attack, something gave me the heebie jeebies, so I sliced off my own arm just before he could. And now he's got some scheme, crippling agony all over, trouble breathing. In that state, a normal person would focus on clinging to life. Yeah, a normal person. Hey, we're bringing back the scratches. Sure, as fine. As long as it takes, I'll keep destroying you, this country, everything. This is where, and we see them both leaping at each other. I transfer it. I kill you. The sixth smoke screen. I'm the most useless right now. Huh? Why? All I need is a dose of decay. Then, no matter what you're plotting, you'll have to defend. Ripping up the earth to keep decay. Also, this is a crazy shot. You know, if I weren't afraid of Japan copyright strikes, I'd be like sharing the screen right now. Using black chain to pull up a whole section of the earth as they're fighting, man. Right when the kiddo was sent flying, he shot strands of black chain underground and carved up the earth itself, all to prep for the next round. Like UA's anti-decay strat, huh? The decoy, only his cape, bro, because he grabs it. The decoy tactic from the sniper battle, only his cape. Huh? But the light shown by my search quirk is pointing to this thing. Blood, search zeroed in on his blood. Hold on, this light isn't Midoriya at all. Where is he? Ah, sure, I get it now. Bro, Deku was in his bag right now. Too late. We see him just coming out with the light. Search indicates the location of those the user has seen. We gambled. You think I don't see you, Phantom, on the possibility that search would register the other successors? My intention to transfer the second allowed him to split off and reside in my blood. By launching that blood straight at Shigaraki, I fell off his radar and created an opening to get up in his face. I exploited the fact that he can track me. That plus a handy smokescreen made him misjudge my position for this sneak attack. Huh? No, I'm sure they had awesome quirks. Rather, his respect and admiration for quirks on the whole. Ninth, my body. What's coming? Oh, he just instantly sprouts. I can't afford to take this hit. Ooh, this blow. Deku successfully dodges. This is just that. Hold on. This is proud of my boy. This blow. Don't let it weigh on you. I was only ever a phantom anyway. My mind and my will have passed to him. But before he can make me his own, I'll. Oop, let's see. We see he hit the scar, and we get that cityscape, and we see him in person. You're super gross, dude. Whoa, this handsy guy is friends with Mr. Staney, right? I want to join your league of villains. Oh boy. Huh? But I want to be a hero too. I'm only here because Stain inspired me to take action. The sports festival, round two against Todoroki. What the hell? And Spinner. Your memories are blending together. Ninth, don't let up. Huh? Sixth, it's working. The second pulled it off, but it wasn't enough. So keep it coming. Whoa. So we hold on. Let me go ahead and get the invite link out. Get the squad. Summon the squad. Whoa. Yeah, I'm glad that despite this chapter being as good as it is and containing what it has in it, that for once, not a panel, not a nothing. Nothing snuck out. Cause boy oh boy, I tell you what, uh this this is Sparta right here. This is some of that ooey gooey, that power. This is what you read MHA for. I'm assuming for most people. Let me check the chat. 'Cause I was selfishly plugging along, reading the chapter without reading any chat. I don't know if anybody said anything. I apologize. Let's see. Okay, that's why the leaks didn't come out till Friday. And let's see, Tom's here. Can't believe you done this. Deku taking him off enough for that is cool. The heebie-jeebies. Viz is not beating the allegations. Deku breathing out the smoke is sick. World Heroes Mission looking punch. I can't believe you done this. I can't wait to see this animated. Look at Horror's old art style compared to his new one. Oh yeah, no, it's been cleaning up. It's just been getting more and more refined as he's gotten here. And I like the fact that it seems like he knows he's taking those. It's obviously he knows he's made that progress because he's even if he's just pulling the old images. Also, I'll say that at least with the Dabi and Toga figures that showed up, some of that new style still leaked in for the parts of them that was fading, but that's okay. But forcing Shigaraki to randomly relive this, and the way I'm gonna be real with you, ever since the Vestige World got more focused, I've been craving for Deku and Shigi to share memories. I've loved this chapter. So, what I like about this, all right, let's see. Terrence Bernard coming through with the super chat saying, here to say I call Deku feeding Shiggy quirks. Now I just need him seizing on the ground in the realms in astonishment to be 2 out of 2. Hmm. Oh, 2 for 2. Yep. I'm so used to 2 out of 2 in messages being like the second message of that I, like my brain was like, oh, like yeah. But yeah, definitely see that as a possibility because I think that when they get to this point in the vestige realm, if they both get absorbed into it or pulled into it, it's going to be pretty intense. And I could see it turning into a. Oh, I didn't even mean to have that setting on. I like that setting. I get to getting pretty intense. Hey, little baby. You're a naked baby outside of your diaper, so you can't be on camera today. Can't
Hello.
have any weirdos possibly popping in. Hey, Thomas, how you doing? How
I'm
you
doing
been?
good. This chapter is really, really good.
Yeah, I'm glad that I didn't get even the slightest bit spoiled on it because
I assume you knew that the leaks came very late.
I didn't know they came like super late until somebody said it in the chat earlier, but
Hmm.
it makes sense.
I think it was like about 8 hours since the leaks. That's when we got the scans.
Wow.
So it's like cutting it close.
Little baby. Well, at this point here, I'll just turn off my camera. You sit down right here, little baby.
I do want to say that I think like one of the best parts about this chapter is both Deku and One for All. Because despite telling him that he has to transfer the quirks to separate them from from the main,
Mhm.
um, like and possibly losing One for All, it shines a light on who Deku is, not just as a person, but as a hero. And his unwavering grip on his ideals to save, even in the face of losing something so beloved, is like really important to like notice. And not to mention, N, who has been putting himself down, which kind of comes across as a commentary on how the fans are perceiving Smokescreen, even though Smokescreen isn't at all a bad quirk. It's quite possibly one of the coolest quirks in the series. When he's like, "Oh, it's the weakest quirk in War for All," paraphrased. Like he's brought to tears seeing Deku use his quirk in a clever and awesome way, which blows my mind. And ever since the beginning, this like it's been established Deku just never stops saving people and making people feel on top of the world. Where it extends to end, where his insecurity, like, oh, am I weak? Am I the weakest? Am I like the weak link of the One for All users? That got stripped away. And he's purposely putting himself on the line now and willing to go out just like Kudo. Because I'm pretty sure the last page is like, yeah, it's the sixth now.
I think I do think it's kind of cool that like the usages and the way that Deku has used Smokescreen, but I think it is fair because his quirk wasn't juiced when he had it.
Yes.
So it's like he's like his quirk is getting to be used in this way that's really clever and powerful and stuff. But he's also aware that it wasn't like this. And let's be Jeannie, you can't take my headphones. I need these.
Do
I need to hear Thomas.
you think it's on the level of Loud Cloud? Like just a
Currently,
smoke, like a tiny billow of smoke.
I think Loud Clouds were better
Honestly, I get it. I can see that.
because he at least could like sit on them. It doesn't seem like smoke screen can be used as a nimbus on getting robbed by a baby. So
You're fine. Well, that happens. How's everyone in the chat? How are y'all? How'd you feel about the chapter? Also, did you see the last panel? Like Deku's like readied fist is very similar to the All Might cover page, or not cover page, the volume cover, like during Kamina.
hold on, let me look at that again because I have to soak it in a bit. But yeah, you're right. That is the classic All Might Camino pose.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Coyote.
What's good, gang?
All right. Oh, me. I can't believe I accidentally used the waiting room feature today. That means I gotta keep paying attention to who's trying to get in.
It's all good.
Dude,
But
the Zoom updated and it restarted my
yes,
whole account, so I had to remake my password and everything, man.
that happened to me too. Like I had to like update Zoom. It was annoying. Hey, Volk.
Well, it took me a
It's
minute
too
to do
late.
that.
I saw your bare chest.
Yeah, you weren't fast enough, Volk.
Yeah, it's
Not the
kind of
Flash.
I like to sleep topless and I'm just slipped some sweatpants on since it's Sunday. How
Real.
you guys doing?
Doing all
Yeah,
right.
pretty good.
Yeah. Um, so it was a 3 week drought, but yeah, we're back.
It's worth it.
It was such a word. It was so worth it. Oh my God.
This is a crazy chapter. Okay. So there's a few things to dive into here. First and foremost, the quirk transfer plan is actually working. And not only is it working, it has another side effect to where Deku and Shigaraki's minds seem to kind of be fusing. And I think it's fusing in a way that's somewhat opposite to what All for One was doing, but also superior because these are two personalities that are coming to an understanding with each other instead of trying to necessarily vie for dominance. Whether or not Shigaraki is consciously aware of that, like I think he wants to show Deku all of this deep down because I think there's a part of him that just wants somebody to understand. And you can't really say that to the League of Villains because like they're similarly messed up people. They're not gonna be able to process that. But Deku is something of an outsider, so he's able to show him all of this. At the same time, Deku wanted to reach out to him is like, well, he's showing him all of his most important moments too. Um, so I just think that the whole spiritual aspect to Quirks has been the coolest thing Horikoshi's ever done.
Gene, that's not how you wear headphones. And I do agree with you that this is like the organic melding of the powers. What I'm kind of curious about, though, is that as he's launching these vestiges into him, I'm curious if the second theory that he's going to be less susceptible to the blowback from the quirk after getting rid of it is actually going to hold true.
I mean,
Because
sheesh, they did the blood trick and that worked. So
if it doesn't work, then he just gave up a really important quirk for nothing. But I'm really hoping, just for the sake of making the sacrifice have value beyond just what we're seeing in the connection of they're forming, that it does, because he's going to need to be able to breathe and all that other stuff if he's going to actually be able to fight. But also with I'm curious as to which memories we're gonna get to go back through as far as through the series for Deku, as well as their childhood, because I want them both to understand where they were during the overhaul arc.
I also want them to understand where they were as kids because I think
Yes.
Dek like Shigaraki's reasoning for what he does is was everything that happened to him as a child. And of course there was no like decay quirk in Deku's life kind of skewing things, but I think seeing Deku persevere despite everything, and it's like I don't think fans really absorb how brutal things actually were for Deku as a kid because it's like I see this all the time with like trauma scaling, and it's like even with fans of other manga, and I'm like, bro, Yuji as a character compared to Deku when he was a kid, he was not going through the same amount of shit. He's arguably he's definitely more traumatized like by the point where he's at, but his actual background, like he did not suffer as much. Deku had a
Yuji
lot of
was literally a star. People
yeah,
loved that boy.
yeah. Everybody loved him. He had a really good relationship with his grandfather. Yes, he didn't know his parents, but like that guy had it good until, shit went crashing down for him.
His granddad.
Yeah. Uh for Deku, it's like when he was 4 and everybody realized didn't have quirk, it's like, well, there was Bakugo at the forefront of all that, and I think there's a few things we need to understand about Bakugo's bullying. I've seen this excuse, and it blows my mind that people have actually arrived at this conclusion. But anyways, I've seen people make the excuses like, well, he wasn't bullying him all the time. I'm like, Bro, bullying is more than just direct confrontations. Like it's a very psychological thing, and that spread to the rest of the schools they were in, as we saw in chapter one. Like
Yeah, but he
everybody,
had people around Deku also
yeah, they
against
looked
him.
down on him. So like he literally had nobody on his
They were
side.
literally beating on him and
Yeah.
kids. So
His mother too was like she was afraid of encouraging his dream because from her perspective that was only hurting him more. So it's like things were very bad for Deku. And of course people will bring up it's like, well, it's not as bad as something like Guts or whatever. I'm like, bro, Guts is a mercenary in like an absolutely grim, dark, really shitty world. Deku's an average high school kid in Japan in basically our world 100 years from now. So you're kind of comparing apples to oranges. You're not really taking into account what type of person Deku actually is because you just want to compare different types of trauma. So I think Shigaraki seeing that is going to be a big it's going to be a big thing because he's either going to accept that Deku had circumstances similar to his, or he's going to kind of keep pushing away as a form of psychological protection, as like avoid acknowledging that he could have chosen to use his power better. And this is also, I think, where the All for One vestige can come in too, because as much as Shigaraki has made all of these choices that were his own, he did accept this power, he did accept to use it for ill. He's killed a lot of people. There is still All for One's hand kind of pushing him to do those things too. So I think a lot of this fight is about ending that cycle of abuse for Shigaraki that started from Nana inadvertently, was passed on to Kotaro, and then all for one picked up the pieces. So I think for Deku he's gonna go into somewhat therapy mode and try and solve some of those core issues. And one other thing, Rikasu pointed this out, and it's 100% true. This is very similar to the final dungeon of Final Fantasy IX, which is formed from the main villain's memories. And we know Final Fantasy IX is a big influence on MHA. So I I'm not sure how far he goes with that, but like as a fan of Final Fantasy IX and RPGs in general, I just really like seeing a lot of the RPG influences on the series. So yeah, that's my rambling. I really like this chapter.
So one of the things that I like about this as well is that I feel like by the time we get like to three vestiges and he has to fire off three of them, there's a chance that the battle actually starts switching to the vestige realm and we won't be able to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
probably,
think
yeah.
that the memory blending is only going to get more intense the more shots that are fired off.
Oh, absolutely. I also
And
think I also think that like they've said that Banjo is going to be the last vestige aside from Yuichi and All Might. I think that's gonna go awry. I think Banjo gets taken and it's gonna be Nana as the last one instead.
oh, that would make
Eh,
me sad.
I don't really see that.
Banjo's like my favorite
That could definitely
vestige.
happen. It's possible.
I think it's just like because Nana definitely has the strongest connection to Shigaraki.
Aside from,
Yeah.
yeah.
The problem I have with that though is leaving or taking Nana away or taking Banjo away is I think it comes to a point where Deku at this point kind of needs Banjo more than any other quirk right now just because of how damaged he is. So him getting taken away would kind of make it like it goes from mid to high diff for fighting Shigaraki to extreme high Jesus fuck, how are we here?
Well, yeah, like I think because the specific wording that All Might used last chapter was that he could sense that One for All was unraveling.
Mhm.
Now, there's a couple ways you can take that. Unraveling means like it's done, it's coming apart, it's not going to exist anymore.
I think if Banjo leaves One for All, it's going to be one final impactful, like vested world like
I,
smash.
I think, well, I don't think that's going to be it. I because when you say unravel, that also to me brings to mind that you're going to wrap it together again much more strongly than before.
I do
So
lean towards that. I mentioned I feel like it'd be really weird if Horikoshi and like maybe Deku's the greatest hero because he beat Shigaraki and that's just why he's the greatest hero. But it would feel very odd to me for Deku to come to this point and lose any sense of quirk.
it's the whole it's the whole you're gonna complete One for All thing that's like really making me think. It's like, well, what does that look like? Because I don't think necessarily him being quirkless really resolves that, you know? So it's like I I I'm gonna be honest, I'm okay with a quirkless ending so long as it's built up to, but I don't think it's really been built up to is my thing. So I think it's a logical danger of this fight. And by the way, I need the editor to I need the narration or the editor or whatever to make up their mind because like there's this little recap that says like, oh, Deku can't go strength for strength with Shigaraki, but it's like they literally said a couple chapters ago that Deku was refusing to go for the insta kill strategy.
Yeah, it comes down to like it's just not consistent. Like we've seen Deku's strong enough to do major damage, and then just being told not to. It's like you can tell me something, but I'm seeing different things.
Yeah,
You know,
it's weird.
vaporizing Shigaraki's arm makes that whole no, because like if that you put Bakugo at this power level in the exact same position, and Shigaraki might be dead already.
Hmm.
And not even Bakugo, you just put Bakugo's mindset paired
Yeah,
with Deku, and Shigaraki is probably dead already.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh,
Like
punched off your
Bakugo,
arm. Wow.
Bakugo was staring down a baby. He's like, no, I'm gonna go for ultimate victory. That guy,
Bakugo came back from death and was ready for the smoke. He is smoke incarnate,
I
man.
did this when I was 5. I'll do it again.
Like,
it's like,
if you think about it, he ripped the arms off a 10-year-old and was like, I'm coming back for more. Like,
you guys see the meme of like Endeavor? I'm about to turn in the old me. Well, that was Bakugo instead.
Yeah, legit. Honestly.
Oh, super chat.
Shiki will give quirks back to Deku before dying. I kind of do expect Deku to get quirks to fill out One for All at the end. I can't see um, Deku coming away from this with just All Might strength because part of the thing that has been lauded the whole series is Deku's understanding of the value of other quirks.
Yes.
And to just like not have that factor into the future of his power at all just seems so weird.
This chapter itself starts with like and Banjo and Kudo going like, no, this kid's built different because it's not because he's like driven necessarily by a sense of duty that's making him such perform so well. It's that he has such an innate understanding and appreciation for quirks.
Which
And
makes One for All shine
yeah,
bright as the sun.
and it's like honestly, him and All for One probably have the most intimate knowledge of what quirks are like out of this whole
Mhm.
series. Like they just understand how to use them best.
And I think that. Mm, okay, thought I was seeing an alert, and I think that as this understanding of his reaches like Shigaraki, I don't think Shigaraki is going to realize one how similar they were, two, oh, little baby, how willing to spin the block they were for stuff like Eri, and how that's born of a sense of justice. And I think in general, Shigaraki's going to see Deku as who he could have been, and that's going to be the thing that, because ultimately that's what they are, right? They're who each other could have been with the if they met the right or wrong person.
Yeah.
Tenko traveled on a similar path to Deku when he was a child, and you can tell from the conversation he had with his mom, where it's like, "Oh, I was playing with this and that, playing heroes, similar to Deku, but it's decay that caused him to branch away. It was the treatment of his parents, which is one of the reasons why I would love to see the flashback when Deku and like Bakugo were children and Bakugo fell into the river and Deku reached out. I would love to see that flashback get brought back. I
It's
just
also
love seeing Hori redraw like these iconic moments, like the Shoto panel.
it's also important to recognize that like Shigaraki could not really consciously control decay until MVA.
Hold up,
And by
y'all.
and by that point, and by that point, well, decay would make it pretty freaking difficult to reach out and grab somebody's hand.
Mm-hmm.
My peak detector is going off.
Oh,
So we get the memory of when Bakugo falls in the river, but we only get it after Shigaraki has seen some of the bullying. And as we get to that point where Deku goes to save him, we get a blend of the Shigaraki in the streets moment, and Deku replaces AFO, and the river replaces the
oh,
streets. And
that's so peak. That would be fire. Oh my God, that's sick.
and so you finally get the hand reaching out to Shigaraki, and it's the bully plus all for one memory
Because
merged
I think
together.
it's really common in the community where people say that what Shigaraki needed was a Deku. What Twice needed was a Deku. What Toga needed was a Deku. So this is exactly what Shigaraki would have wanted to see instead of a man who, like he says so elegantly, groomed him.
Genie, you like being Shigaraki?
I think does Seth need to be approved to get in here, or is it
I
just
approved him to
totally
get in. It just says he's connecting to audio.
Yeah, maybe
Zoom
Zoom's being
tripping
very
today?
finicky. Yeah,
Somebody talk about Tokiyami. He'll come in faster.
absolutely.
Well, Tokoyami's going to lose his bird head at the end of the series, and it's going to turn out that he's a pretty boy.
It's like when Shrek in Shrek 2 got turned into a human and like everyone was simping for him.
The
It's like
hot
that.
goth boyfriend.
Yeah. With that chiseled chin.
It's like a Sukuna meme where he's like just glancing, just looking ahead, completely stone faced, square
Real
jaw.
quick.
My
We got
technique from the
from
hand area.
Cameron Bailey asking us a
Our
question.
technique from the Heian era.
Yeah.
Oh yes, this long dolphin
Um,
technique I've never used since the Heian era.
so Cameron said, "Hey church."
Yeah,
So I've been on Twitter and people are saying we never get Deku's introspection and that the users are just speaking for him. What are you guys' thoughts?
I kind
I
of can see
think this
that.
is the moment where we get a bunch of how they feel.
Hmm.
Because we've been saving Deku, like Shigaraki's reactions to Twice and all this other stuff. And then we see he has this flashback to when Dabi and Toga joined, which in of itself, when you look at the moment with Deku and Todoroki, Horikoshi is subtly saying these moments are comparable as far as their relationships and their growth as people go.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Which
like
means that for all the baring teeth at each other that he had with Dabi, that is a genuine moment of a friendship building in the minds of Shigaraki.
yeah, like that was that moment was important too because like that was right before he met Deku and kind of started to. That was right before he met Deku at the mall and kind of started chilling out.
Mhm.
And he got a lot better as a villain after that because like he wasn't. He was about actually making connections again and reaching out little by little, even if like
Are you trying to get that?
even if a lot of his core abuse was still there.
Mhm.
Like it's the thing that makes the League of Villains work is that they are as much a family as they are a bunch of basically terrorists running around. Um, and for Deku as well, the Todoroki stuff, that was really the first time he got to be, an effective hero.
Mhm.
So that was a huge moment for both of those characters. And there's a reason why that's kind of the point where MHA not only took off, but people got really into it. Because you had season one, and then you got to season two, and it was that fight specifically. And I hear people to this day say, "Oh, that might be the best episode in the series." It's that. It's
I
that
um
memorable.
I do want to comment on what Cameron said about like people talk about Deku's introspection and that the users are speaking from. I think it's like as much as I see that point, and I agree. Number one, Deku was suffocating, so we couldn't have consistent like back and forth conversation. Not only
Yeah.
that, but it was important for the users to sit there and see Deku in action and see what Deku does as a person, as a hero, for them to finally understand. Like at the beginning of of the chapter, Kudo says he's not driven by duty, but his respect and admiration for quirks, which makes One for All shine even better. They're hyping
Yeah.
Deku up by also acknowledging, yeah, this is the finest One for All user we have ever had, and quite possibly the one deserving of the number one spot. And then
Possibly,
once after
possibly,
this, we're going to get Deku's introspection again and seeing him talk about his past or having a conversation with Shigaraki, not just through
Yeah.
like words, but through flashbacks and memories.
Not to
it
mention, I think this is important to get the vestiges introspection right now, just because if we're going to be rapid firing characters, you already know people are going to say, well, we didn't get enough time with the vestiges. We didn't really learn
Mhm.
much about them. So this is essentially just building them up a bit before they're gone forever,
Yes,
So
I agree with
it
that.
needed in a way. And then after they're gone or we get to a certain stage, that's when we're going to get more
yeah,
introspection.
yeah.
Mhm.
And
I
I
mean,
think
like we've
people
been
get
saying for
upset about that.
years,
Agreed.
that a lot of the bulk of Deku's like introspection and thinking and ideology and stuff, like you kind of have to save most of that for the Shigaraki battle because that's the conclusion of his character arc. Like, and I disagree with a lot of the takes people have about Deku's introspection. Is like, oh well, he doesn't really think about that stuff. It's like my thing is he thinks about stuff, but he doesn't think about it in ways that I think validate their own feelings towards it. That's kind of been the difference. Um, and
Tanisha kind of says
here,
it good right here. They want
yeah,
specific introspection.
yeah, yeah, I suppose. Well, here though, it's like you are directly getting into memories, and I will add, I think there's going to be like a final goodbye for the vestiges
Yeah,
because I don't think just firing them off is going to be it.
Yeah.
of
I
course,
think
yeah.
there's going to be a little something after that, but I do think they're gone after
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
Yes, they're gone. They're gonna this is their time to rest and move on.
Yeah, that's why I say it's important to just build them up right now.
I yeah, I think the best way we can go about what people want from Deku's introspection is there was a video done by the Masked Man. I'm pretty sure some people may know this YouTuber, but he was talking about how he felt like Horikoshi needed to take inspiration from comics like Spider-Man, where Spider-Man is always
Mhm.
thinking, he's always digesting situations. And one of them was when I think it was Spider-Man fighting against Morlun and he's constantly fighting, going back and forth. But he gets a chance to sit down and ask God, can you, I know you don't like me, but can you just give me just 1 second to breathe? I feel like that's what people want from Deku, which like I get it, that's what people want. However, I do think right now we have the opportunity to get like a more natural and more um flavorful like Deku introspection that will make the wait worth it. And I get why people don't they hate the whole let Hori cook or let's just wait, but I think it's necessary. Because like folks said, like this is the end of his character arc. Deku's not finished as a character. Unlike his side characters and his fellow protagonists, let's just wait and see what happens
Yeah.
before thinking everything is like hopeless.
Hey everyone.
Hey
Hello.
man, how you
Hey,
Hey,
doing?
Joseph.
Yeah, I got
Hey.
ended up switching to my laptop because I just
Real.
couldn't get it on the big one. So
Also, hey,
Yeah,
Steph.
man. Zoom's horrible today.
Steph, can you
Steph's
hear
Oh,
us?
audio
Steph's
isn't
here
coming through,
too. Oh my god, we
but
got
I
two
like
goats.
because I like put Seth back in the waiting room and then brought him back in, and that allowed him to like actually join. But now his audio isn't connected, so he has to choose to connect his audio again. I think.
Okay, bet.
But
yeah, I actually did get in, but then like none of my audio was working. Like I couldn't hear you guys. I like that
Yeah, same.
when I was doing the microphone test and I came up with nothing. So
Mhm.
but yeah, I was actually this was the first chapter since POW that I did not read the leaks for.
Good shit.
proud of you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean the leak's not coming out until like Friday really helped. But I got a much more fulfilling experience reading this chapter because of that. And I just need to figure out how to make the mute terms work on Twitter so I can keep doing that because I just enjoyed this chapter so much more than I probably would have just because I didn't know what was going to happen.
Bro, I think you're touching on something very important. I think a lot of the responses to MHA, whether or not people recognize or even admit it, have been influenced by the really big rise in leaker culture the past 2-3 years.
Mhm. I think you can like a better way to put it as well is like look at the conversations about this chapter now. If you go into like the 414 hashtag and you look at what people are saying, it's more like people are more willing to actually sit down, have a conversation, discuss their their opinions on the chapter. It's a lot less negative. And I feel like that like we can thank the fact that we had leaks much, much later than usual. Like the downfall of leaks is happening, and I'm grateful for that. Because as much as I love like getting MHA early, like I can, we get the officials on Sunday, and then I can just wait 2 more days and then get MHA again, unless there's a leak, not a leak,
So
a
all
break.
this to say, arigato, Japanese police.
Yes, I'm the
Nihon!
one. I'm the one
leakers are on a high
who report them
horse
all.
recently. I don't know if y'all saw it, but one of the Dragon Ball leakers was trying to sell the leaks. Like you would
Oh,
get early
dude.
access to see the leaks.
Dude,
Oh.
I saw that, and me and like a chat of some of my friends were just like, bro, what a freaking idiot.
These leakers are becoming more and more comfortable. Like, let's be honest. Like, leakers, if you look at other like websites or chat boards, leakers are meant to be low key. They're not meant to have a personality outside of the leaks. They don't have their own personal Twitter account where they can interact with fans. I say fans because a lot of these leakers have their own fans or people that look
Yeah,
up
you
to them.
remember Rukasu during or Atsushi? The one with
Atsushi.
the female Atsushi, not the
Me-
first
me and-
Atsube.
Me and Dev,
Atsube, yeah.
me and Dev actually follow each other. Like she's not a bad person.
Yeah,
but-
she seems really chill. It's just
I know, but I'm saying
I
like
just don't
during her
like
leaker
that
time,
approach.
she was trying the get money route.
Yeah,
I think a lot
I
of
think
people
for
are doing
both
that
of
shit.
I think for both of them, they at least know not to kind of overstep some things. Mia is somewhat of a different case.
Mia's one of the targets of the investigation.
Yeah.
Or it's Gojover, whatever their username
Hey,
is.
don't leak my leaker. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to keep that under wraps. I can't lose JJK again.
Meanwhile,
someone else will come up.
he has like what is it, 600,000 followers now?
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I think something we have to acknowledge is that a lot of the notoriety of JJK's manga the past year was because of Mia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like that just spread like fire. And it's the way not only Gege narrates things, but how Mia was explaining it and giving like kind of play-by-play updates. Like, I mean, that's what all leakers do, but it was kind of like sports plays
Yeah,
after a
man.
while.
During that Gojo's era, that was unrivaled in terms of play-by-play.
Yep. Like it was just something else. And like people really gravitated to that. Um, Me personally, I think some of the hype kind of clouded over some more genuine issues with the manga, but I'm gonna save that discussion for another day. Um,
Hidden inventory is still the best start.
yeah, I have to agree. But as far as MHA goes, I will say that JJK was always like it took off in like end of 2020, 2021, so it was pretty big.
Mhm.
But I think the past year has just been absolutely explosive for it.
For sure,
And
yeah.
people always compare that to MHA, and I'm like, well, you got to consider a few things with MHA. One, MHA is a much more protracted kind of series by nature. It's also significantly longer. It also had a balance between school and action arcs until only the past few years since started PLW really. So it's like, and also Japan just gravitates more to Exorcist series than superhero ones. That's the other thing.
Exorcist series are the superhero series of Japan.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of people acting like it isn't. Like you think KNY with its average story blew up the way it did because it was just no. It's because it's an Exorcist series and it hit a cultural resonant note. You got samurais being exorcist against yokai. Ta-da!
That's a
Boom.
hit for
It's like
however
putting out
long
a
they've been
western in
going.
the 1950s. You're gonna get a hit.
Yeah.
So context matters. But I'm also surprised. I'm seeing a lot more positivity for MHA recently now that like the final arc is getting to its last stage. And people are kind of reflecting on a lot of it and going like, man, that was actually pretty solid. It was pretty strong.
Yeah. Also, RIP martial artist Asumi. You will be missed.
R.I.P.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, that already got canceled. And my personal theory is that the mangaka actively choosing not to hypersexualize the female lead was part of what made Japan not mess with it.
yeah.
Yeah, Japan loves hypersexualization. It's
Alright.
kind of crazy.
I mean,
It's
I
like-
kind of didn't want to go this route, but look at Mama Yuyu's sudden shift to a battle harem series.
Oh,
Yeah.
Battle
Hey,
Hey,
harem.
really? Did that happen?
Say
It did.
fucking
Yeah, he's slowly
less.
getting a harem.
Oh,
let's count it off. You got Elysia, who's best girl, and they should have stuck with her as with Minerva as the wingman.
Yeah.
Then Minerva suddenly gets a crush on Corleo, which I was not really a fan of. Then they come across this little lolly
Girl that-
bunny girl
Yep.
who crushes on Corleo too. And right now they're running into the super perverted girl who just happens to be like who appears to be like the same age as Corleo and into all the fan service shit.
Yep. And the one guy that they introduced already from the other world was just he's just gone. He just like vanished.
He's Dunzo.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't really mind harem stuff. I mean, like I play Persona for crying out loud.
that is the ultimate harem game.
Yeah, but it's like it was a weird shift.
Yeah.
While Kagurabachi has actually gotten extremely freaking good.
You want to know how I know Kagurabachi made it? People were blaming it for the martial artists anime manga's cancellation.
Yeah.
That's
This is too
wild.
powerful.
No, okay. So
it was. Go ahead.
so here's the thing. When I say like unironically, like the lack of sexualization is probably what did it. Because like we had a fight where the girls were like we had a girl versus girl fight, and they're in MMA attire, and there was no like horny shots, no weirdly like focused on their jump, none of it. Like it was just like them brawling. And even early in the series, it was obvious that's how he was gonna do it because there was a part where the girl gets on the ground and she like basically tells him to come wrestle her. And I was like, whoa. But like the way the shot was done is like a lot of like if you go back 20 years, yeah, 20 years. When like a series would done that, it guaranteed would have been like a come wrestle me with a panty shot. Instead, she had full blown shorts on underneath her skirt, so that you couldn't get that fan service shot because she's a fucking mixed martial artist. And I noticed that, and I was like, okay, so this is definitely not going to be that kind of series. Cool. And I think a bunch of people immediately went, oh, this isn't going to be that kind of series.
I'm sorry, this is so stupid, but Tyler in the chat just have a dying. What happened to Mama Yu is a direct result of Gege recommending the series.
Didn't Hori recommend Kagurabachi? So it's like,
Yes.
it's very funny.
Okay. Okay. The author and editor were going down that route either way, but it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah, I always thought it was kind of amusing that like Gege recommended the series with Heroes and Demon Lords, and Horikoshi recommended the series to Sorcerers.
Yeah, with raw action.
Look, Kagurabachi is actually cooking.
I need to
Yeah.
actually sit down and read it. I heard
I'm glad.
great
I'm
things.
glad he brought out the
Thomas.
Hexclads.
You gotta read it
Okay.
to me, man. I don't have Viz. I've been waiting.
There are sites you can go to.
Hey,
Just gotta go yo ho ho, you know.
They've sent me sites and
I'm
I
not
don't-
saying you should. I'm just saying they're there.
Yeah.
We don't
rather be
condone
right
it,
than
but
wrong.
we also
We're not involved in running them. I mean,
yeah, so you know we can't be blamed.
The
You know, the
subscription
access
to the
is there.
official service is $3.
Yeah.
we
there's that
advocate
voice.
Obligatory.
we advocate you do go for a membership on the Shonen Jump app.
You don't gotta, you know.
Or
Like,
alternatively, if you're not in one of the territories Viz services, Manga Plus has offered a subscription service themselves.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cake up, man. That's too much money. That $2 is enough to me, man.
Mhm.
That's one McChicken these days.
That's life changing, man.
I remember when McDonald's burgers used to be like 60 cents or something.
times have changed.
Times have changed.
Yeah.
Used to be able to buy 4 Little Debbie snack cakes for $1. Now you can get like 2, maybe 1. But they moved it to 75 cents.
Probably one. Probably one. Sounds about right.
Capitalism, baby. Isn't it great?
Dead
Who's
ass
that?
Nothing gotta
restaurants
hate
are
it.
pricing them bitches. I went to Taco Bell and it's like $1.50 for some chips.
This shit. Taco, and what's sad is Taco Bell is still probably the cheapest one currently.
I mean, not wrong.
I will say I got the chance to have Popeyes a while ago, and people were hyping up the biscuits, saying it's really dry. It's not that dry. Let's relax.
I have
Y'all can't
Popeyes.
handle the dryness, I guess.
I have Popeyes from time to time. It's nice.
I've
It's
never had
nice.
Popeyes.
If I have Popeyes, there's a good chance I would literally die because they cook the chicken and shrimp in the same batter, and I'm allergic to shrimp.
Oh, wait, they do?
Ooh.
What was that, Thomas?
They do?
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh Jesus.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So MHA.
Yes.
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 MHA peak.
Yeah.
Okay. There's actually one
Honestly,
thing I
yeah.
wanted to bring up for MHA, and it was something Cameron asked us is, do we think, I think it was if the moment of the vestiges where he saw Dobby and Toga in them and Spinner would have hit better if those characters were dead? I think that was the question he asked.
No.
Well, Toga Toga's probably dead.
I
Dobby
don't believe that.
Dobby is
Oh,
I 100% believe Toga's dead.
but I don't think it hits
Assuming
harder if they were dead. I feel like it hits higher because this, like, to a lot of people, or well, yeah, to everyone, this is the first time we got to meet them. Seeing that moment where they got this, like, talk to Shigaraki
In his new
is
art
like,
style.
yeah, in a new art style. It's like with the Shoto panel. It hits hard seeing them like
I
withdrawn.
I don't know. I think that those just aren't really equivalent moments to me, like Shoto doing his thing and
Yeah.
just meeting Dabi and Toga. I mean, yeah, that doesn't mean they're not like significant events in Shigaraki's life, but like their first meeting is Shigaraki trying to kill them. Like
He's saying
it's
he's
not
asking if it
this.
would hit harder if they were dead.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not sure what is supposed to hit other than just like, oh wow. Like to me, that was like a very big shock factor thing. I think it's good though that we saw it, obviously. I just mean like I'm not like these are just moments that are playing in a reel. I'm not sure like what is being like when I see that, my first thought was, okay, this is happening. This is really cool. Not, oh, that moment. I love that moment so much, kind of thing, you know?
It's like
I
the
mean,
Office meme where Michael's like, "Oh my God, it's happening, guys! It's happening! It's happening!"
well, yes, because this is actually really what I've wanted for the entire series. Like I have a both a 2-year-old post just talking about, I really want this kind of scene where like just the people from Deku's past, his friends, are showing up in like somehow vestige space. Like obviously it wasn't as clearly defined and specific as this, but like in terms of like just memories of people throughout the series coming up during the vestige fight, that is
Mhm.
exactly what I've been wanting. Like it's just it works so well. It lets us like connect so many scenes together. Like this chapter hits so hard for me because it's like it literally feels like 10 years of writing, almost 10 years of writing, just coming right together to make this chapter. Like this chapter is so good for the direction of this fight, and I am really excited for it. Um, and gosh. But sorry, but as
Cameron.
for that question, like I'm not sure that those like there will be hard-hitting scenes and
Mhm,
flashbacks and appropriately timed ones, like thematically timed ones. I don't think like we're there yet is the thing. So
mhm.
yeah, for me it's more like okay, this is happening, not oh that memory,
Mhm.
So
Yeah, Cameron then responded saying, he's saying it mostly because if they were dead, what would Shigaraki's be when he finds out? Like the reader knows they're dead, but Shigaraki doesn't. I don't really know how that would necessarily change. Because I don't see how Shigaraki would find out they're dead, because that's just his memories, you know?
yeah, Deku doesn't even know that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's not what's more important is like the underlying feelings and emotions towards those characters, not so much like whether they're that are
It was
alive.
the
Yes.
first time he made friends genuinely since he was a kid.
Mhm.
Yeah, even though friends sometimes feels like a strong word for the guy, but you're right, they are a found family
They're
type
his
of
nakama,
situation.
his Tomodachi.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm really looking forward to exactly where this goes because seeing the memories pitted against each other is going to hit so hard. Like that is such an awesome and imaginative and excellent use of just the entire thing or the entire series leading up to now,
You
and I'm
you
going to repeat
guys,
Yeah.
myself over and over
do you
again.
guys
Oh my
think we're
gosh.
gonna see any new memories that we didn't see before?
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
that would
Yeah,
be very nice if he added that.
I think he should because like it is a stroll through memory lane. For what we've seen as well, it's like, hey, you remember these parts, but I think there are some extra pieces we don't have yet. Also, there's what's gonna happen when Deku actually enters that vestige world of Shigaraki's through the fissure, through the hole.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
So,
wonder if that might happen. That is freaky, but honestly, yeah, I can see that something that
Honestly,
crazy.
honestly, I think Deku can go like is going to be going 3 to 5 chapters entirely quirkless while he's inside that vestige world.
I would love to see like, because it's clear like there is a lot
That's
of
like
influence from Bleach. I would love to see Deku and Shigaraki have a conversation similar to White and
I mean,
Ichigo.
just think about the significance of Deku not having any quirks or messages with him. It's
Mhm.
just him reaching out to Tango.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that would be. I'd really like to see that. But of course, if they go all the way and he goes quirkless that route, I think you do also have to show him regain some kind of power. I don't know how much, but like again, completing one for all, how Deku is going to actually resolve this issue of villains being villains being abandoned by society, which is the bigger problem here. Like it's really how he approaches that here with Shigaraki, how I that's going to determine if the story wraps up appropriately or not. But I think Horikoshi has such a strong vision of where he wants to go that even with things that kind of seem iffy at first, the way this chapter has gone, I'm really loving this stuff. So I want him to go all the way with it. And I, I'm just prepared for the feels, man.
I do want to like talk about Deku in particular in the chapter because a lot of people downplay this side of him, which like if you do, that's very stupid. His battle IQ. This is some
Oh
of the
yeah.
best battle IQ I've seen in the series, and it proves like don't downplay Deku as a fighter.
Bro,
Like
Yeah.
last
Deku,
chapter, using the black whips, like and then making it black chains and having in the ground so he can pull it up once Shigaraki uses the K, just like the UA, the anti-decay system. That's sick.
bro,
Yeah, man.
Deku is genuinely, when it comes to quirks specifically, he's genuinely Goku levels of
Hmm.
smart and gifted.
Yeah, man. Deku is just insane. Every fight, he just manages to show off why he earned this power compared to most people. Because you got to remember, he's just a kid with, I think at the start of the series, we were like 6, 7, 8 months. I don't know where we are now, maybe a year. But this is a year training worth compared to people who've spent their entire lives just training with quirks under the best school. And he's just managing to outdo them just based off pure battle IQ for most of it.
Yep. Yeah.
So I wonder how far back these memories are gonna go. Like, is Deku gonna witness Tenko's like family abuse, or
Oh, absolutely.
is Shigaraki gonna witness how like Deku was like
The family abuse
bullied?
is definitely going to be layered with the bullying.
For
Yeah.
sure.
And he's probably going to see that Shigaraki's probably going to be forced to see that moment where Inko tells Deku that he can't be a hero because it's going to be instrumental towards his own upbringing of being told he can't be a hero.
Mhm.
I
Been
mean,
dealing with
like,
the fussy butt. Sorry.
here's the thing with
Fine.
that. Like, I am like I think people have a really hard time accepting how bad the Bakugo bullying actually was. Some of them do. Um, and so when you see it overlaid with the abuse Tenko suffered from his father, I don't know if I'm even gonna participate in any of that discussion because I just know that's a whole mess waiting to happen. Is that's like years and years of agenda that would just be upended. But I think the more important thing here is though that like is that the two actually fully understand where they came, where each of them is coming from. And also another underappreciated part of this chapter, Shigaraki is freaking scared when Deku comes in for like the hit. He's
Oh yeah,
like,
he brought back the hand armor, which like in my opinion was probably his best looking look.
yeah. He was just like, oh shit, I can't I can this guy's fucking crazy. I can absolutely not let him hit me. But he hit him anyways. And in the
Shigaraki's
process,
face where he's like, oh, that's it's one of the
and in the
best
process,
animated
it looks like
Shigaraki.
Deku's gotten what's going to be a lasting scar on his
Nice
scalp,
temple.
on his scalp. That would be a cool look for him as an adult, you know, the scar on that top of his head. Like he gouged out a decent amount of skin.
Super chat from Terrence Burn. You
Bernard?
think Deku's mem will show his dad with the milk?
Oh, memories. We'll show his dad with
Ah.
the milk. Possibly
This is how we get introduced to the.
Hisashi.
Actually, that is almost really interesting. I'm sorry. Actually, what if though? Because we did say they might show up. We might get some new memories here or there, maybe to fill in some holes. But like,
If we
That
get a
would be-
Hisashi Kotaro parallel, that'll be fucking wild.
Be
It
an
would
insane way to reveal Deku's dad. Him slapping the shit out of Deku. Like, what?
oh no way. But the difference in their stories is that Inko actually left instead of Shigaraki's mom, who stayed too long.
They're still together, actually.
Oh right, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Actually,
he's out there.
he's
working.
literally, yeah, they're not divorced. You're right. Excuse me.
I can see it. I can see it being somewhat revealed that they're actually separated. Though, I think that might
Maybe.
be possible.
I don't know.
Isn't
That's a
he
little
just
bit
on
of
a
a
business trip?
heavy topic to just sort of kind of
Well,
randomly drop.
Heavy
mean-
topic in MHA.
No,
yeah.
No, I know, but like it's just sort of that to me comes off as a bit forced at this point, just because like I don't know that I feel like that's something that we should have.
I
earlier.
feel
I agree.
something that dramatic.
Yeah, well, I feel like it might be more appropriate if it showed Hisashi being somewhat neglectful.
Yeah. Because like one of the fandom's like biggest questions, like, why did Deku name drop his dad when he was fighting Musker? It's like they probably just wasn't close. Or it could have been like a Deku
Can't
just
believe
didn't
my
fuck with his
sperm
dad.
gave birth to this bum ass quirkless kid. Just
It's
left right
possible.
there,
Like
man.
I don't know. I feel like we could see Hisashi. I also don't think we will. It's one of those things where if we get him, that's great. It'd be so cool. If we don't, we can live with it. Because his true dad is All Might. He's right there. Just miles away.
If
True.
if he
Also
does
in his
show up,
heart.
Yes.
if he does
And a
show
quirk.
up, if Hisashi does show up, I hope he looks like the Jack Midoriya character from the original one shot.
Yeah, honestly.
Honestly, yeah.
With the same suit.
Oh
Like
my
with
God,
all the
they're
callbacks that
genetically
are from
ugly.
that manga in this one, like him just being a plucky salesman trying to make it in America. I don't know. That's fine too.
I know we were like joking about Bruce, right? And like how, oh my God, it's such a weird name, but also a good reference to like Bruce Lee. I think like characters in My Hero having very I won't say English names because like obviously that's not the case, but it's like Jack Midoriya, that could definitely be like a nickname. Hisashi Jack Midoriya.
Where did the name Jack come
I don't know. Maybe Hori was like, yeah, this sounds nice.
from?
Nice
I
ring
mean,
to it.
maybe he just takes an English name because, Hisashi is too Japanese for America or something. I don't know.
Possibly.
I don't know.
Regardless, it would be really cool.
But yeah. No, we mentioned earlier about how scared Shigaraki is, but it's like I think that's so interesting to me and really nuanced at this point how Horikoshi draws Deku. Just, Deku is being full on heroic here, but it also looks terrifying. And that's just such an interesting kind of given like the entire series and what we know, like how certain things in the series, like the smile serves as a mask, kind of like heroism is actually really this gritty thing at its core. And I don't know, I really like it, and I'm curious to see what else Horikoshi is gonna say about it going forward, because like at this point it's like not a coincidence. Like he's not saying Deku is being bad here for trying to save Shigaraki. Like that's not what he's saying. He this is just what it looks like to do your best to help people. And that's insane, but I really love it.
Mm, sorry. I really like that panel where Deku looked just like All Might did right before he took a little off one's top.
Yes. Also remember that, like it was stated before, wounded hero is always the scariest. Deku is wounded. He looks scary, but he also like looks like, yeah, fuck it. You beat his ass, young Midoriya.
Also, R.I.P. to Gran Torino's cape.
Yes,
Thank God it's gone, man. I've been
I'm
waiting
gonna
for that
miss it.
trash cape to be gone, bro. Deku needed that gone so we can finally get a good looking cape, man.
And
You can't be the
Endeavor's
number one
gonna
hero with trash drip.
Endeavor's gonna look at Deku and the fact that he lost the cape and be like, damn, in my flash forward of the future, you had it like repaired. Like, what happened, Deku?
Well,
I mean, it
Deku's-
probably did just fly off. I think the cape is
Deku's
fine.
cape in the
He'll
future.
pick it up off the ground later.
No, the
No,
cape
no,
is
Shigaraki
decayed.
decayed. Yeah, Shigaraki decayed it.
It's
Oh, he
gone.
did.
I mean,
Oh,
Deku's
okay, well,
cape in the
rip.
future is like his own thing. It's not the Gran Torino hood.
I thought it was like like you could see like stitches or like something like one cape is attached to Gran Torino's cape.
Or he gets a new mantle, and then later that same mantle becomes a cape. I don't know.
Maybe.
Or the
I'm gonna
future is
miss
a
it.
lie, and everyone's dead.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's gonna be the Jujutsu Kaisen ending. But in My
I-
Hero.
It was
Please,
our Jujutsu Kaisen Academy.
please let it happen.
The mini arc that N gets is great. I'm sorry, just it's so subtle and small, but like I just really like how this chapter frames Deku's love of quirks, and that just goes back into inspiring N to just kick it into high gear and to support the ninth instead of saying I'm useless and useless. Like that's just such a core thing about Deku. He's such an inspiring person, and it comes from that place of love for quirks, and quirks again is kosei, which is individuality. So it's because he sees the good in people that he is
Mhm.
able to rally their support, and
I mean,
that's
in a society that's so focused on quirks and heroes, it always means something when someone actually shows true appreciation for quirks. Like we see N, like he's like, my quirk's the weakest. Why are you going so hard with this quirk? Like I thought it can't do anything. Seeing Deku like actually show that it can be useful.
and that
You
was
just gotta
so
believe.
clean.
Dude, the actual fighting too is super fun to just read because they're taking environment and their respective quirks into account. Which is
Right.
why I think it's silly to think,
Oh,
oh, well, why aren't they throwing any punches? I'm like,
super chat.
Yeah, I was gonna say let Anaki read that. That's designed for his voice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
oh,
Lazy with redrawing scenes. Where is real shonen? Hands, aura, dino nugs. I stuff my face to fill the pain of loneliness. A woman, please touch me.
that is dead ass how a lot of readers sound when they're like, where's the aura? I'm like, bro, you're just not locked in right. The aura's there.
Hey, man,
It's been
or
there.
subjective, man.
Yeah. I mean, like the fight itself though is just like it's entertaining. Like it's really entertaining to watch. I love how varied the quirk usage is. I like it right now they're gouging the fuck out of the area around Mount Fuji. So eventually that's gonna lead to some volcanic activity. So just be ready for that. But like I like it makes me think about how people were complaining about like, oh, MHA doesn't really go that hard with fights. I'm like, you're analyzing the fights from the perspective of like strictly martial arts, but battles in MHA are very quirk focused, like very power focused first. So I don't think you're really giving it its fair shake if you're just expecting straight up punching to happen all the time. Right now, Deku and Shigaraki are basically playing Like they're just throwing quirks at each other right now. Like they're going crazy. So
Shigaraki throwing
if you
quirks.
can't see that, then I don't think you're really assessing how Horikoshi does his fights fairly.
I mean, Deku's quite literally throwing quirks at Shigaraki. Like, bam.
Exactly.
Well, okay, so one of the things
It's
that
such an
always found
insane
fascinating
series of mechanics. Yeah.
is that MHA fights scale with the combat skill of the person in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is that if I ask you straight up who's consistently gotten of the students the best choreography in their fights, most people are going to say Bakugo. And it was very clearly established that Bakugo was, on a technical level, a cut above the class.
Yeah, not only was he a prodigy, he actually genuinely practiced with his quirk all the time.
So, like when you look back to even the first battle training where he's like, bow, bow, bow. It's like, damn, he just hopped him, did all this stuff. He basically did a crossover mid combat and whooped Deku's ass. And then, like, you see what Deku's doing, like, I'm gonna punch you. Like, after that initial judo, like that hip toss, he's basically just trying to get his bearings and do something. And that's actually a good thing because a lot of series, like, everybody is a raw martial artist. Like,
I was seeing Link Click. They were throwing hands like crazy.
not
And
to
they're
be
just
mean
normal
to
people.
JJK, but people regularly say Megumi is not good at martial arts. I have zero reason to believe that based on feats. This man is consistently getting into hand-to-hand combat fights with sorcerers.
Look at him versus Toji.
Yeah, the
He
fact that
had
he
to
survived the
engage
bit
in
with Toby
fights
is
to
crazy.
survive against Toji.
So, like, how good you're supposed to be with hand-to-hand combat in JJK doesn't seem to necessarily scale with the actual feats you will get in the series within your fights. Which I like. That's one of the things that had Megumi like so highly rated for me personally is actually that he was capable of throwing hands, even though people kept saying he couldn't. So,
Bro, he was
like,
in middle school terrorizing every delinquent who kind of came at him. Like he was literally sitting on their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
and then as pointed out by I can't believe you've done this. When you look at um Endeavor fights, the choreography, like especially around Pro Hero Arc, the choreography stepped up, and then you had joint training follow after, and that fight choreography wasn't as good as the fight in Pro Hero because they aren't as good as Endeavor.
And also
So,
another thing too is like All Might fights. It's been stated that All Might's style of fighting was exceedingly simplistic.
yeah,
Like because he didn't.
It was
he did-
criticized too by people saying all MHA is just about punching really hard.
Yeah. And now they're like, well, why aren't there enough punches? So ironic how things just change depending on the agenda being pushed.
Kinda.
I mean, like with All Might, like he rarely had to divvy up his fighting style. And when we see him fight, he's well past his prime. So, like the closest we see to Prime Might is not even isn't even United States of Smash. It's the very first battle we see him in with the Nomu. Like that's the closest we've seen to him being Prime.
And even
And
then, that took
arguably,
longer than it normally would have.
yeah, arguably Deku's feats right now are where you would have seen Prime Might at. So
yeah.
Imagine how terrifying All Might would have been if he had access to the previous user's quirks.
I
All
don't
Might
know.
with Fudge and Gear Shift, monstrous.
He would have used them in like very straightforward but effective ways.
Yeah. Like, I don't see All Might doing Black Chain.
No,
No,
never.
no. All Might was when all you have is a hammer, treat everything as a nail.
You know how like some like fighting games, you look at like the guide of what to do, and you only see the first page. That's what All Might always sees. He doesn't go to the other page. He's
That
like, oh,
Tekken,
these are
that,
like
Tek-
the main combos. Yeah, I'm doing that. Fuck it.
that Tekken user manual somebody shared.
Yes.
But yeah. So when it comes to the way the fights are, like this fight has been Deku's best fight because this is where he's at his most experience. Like when he was
Easily.
fighting against Nagant, that was a really well done fight. Why? Because that's effectively a veteran Deku. At least like he's no longer in his rookie year.
He's literally drawing from everywhere so far. And of course, the recent battles, like, I'm just, the scale is so cool. Like, he literally carved up the battlefield for his own personal use against Shigaraki. Just, and Black Chain is so insane.
Yeah. And like the fact that Shigaraki immediately recognized, and what I like about it is like the scale of it, right? Is that this is clearly a battleground, like with enough space for them to move around on. And like, yeah, sure, Shigaraki can just decay it, but he still like grabbed like a huge amount of ground. Like this is like a football field or a soccer field or football field, depending on how you want to look at it. But worth of land, just boom. All right, we're fighting. So this is multiple tons of rock just lifted instantly, so that he can not have to worry about all the ground around Mount Fuji getting destroyed. That's even
Still say him and Deku are second strongest in jump right now. Not counting.
Like, you see how small Deku is in that spread
Yeah.
compared to the chunk of land. And I know some of it is perspective, but like, you also see Shigaraki on the land. So like,
It kind of reminds me of the end of the Spider-Man 2 game where Peter and Venom are fighting on the
Oh yeah, on the chunks of the
Oh, okay.
the football field.
yeah.
I mean, there have been so many Spider-Man 2s. I had to think about which one you were talking about.
Insomniac, yeah.
The Insomniac Spider-Man, which I still say was way too short. But anyways,
Great game, too short.
yeah. And
Also,
this is just like they're just winding up now. Like they've been winding up and now they're letting loose. So I'm really excited to see what other crazy feats they pull off here.
I just want to say that when that punch makes contact, that is actually one of the best shots of Deku. Partially
He's
because he
so
actually
good.
looks like fucking Goku.
It's
Like,
very
see
similar to World Heroes Mission when he's like moving with his fists in like 100%.
It's just like that. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's such
no,
a cool
it's
shot.
Yeah, it's like that
too late.
the angle of when you punch Fleckturn over and over
Yes.
again.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. It's like, oh, and you can see like just the detail in Deku's body with the black whip marks and
Mhm.
like him flexing.
It's so cool. Like, and just the way it's drawn too, the reveal that Deku was, using the decoy, the quirks, the messages themselves as
Yes.
decoys. Like that reveal when he goes too late, it looks so pretty, actually. Like just the lights flashing. And when Kudo says goodbye, like when he smacks into it, it's like, holy shit.
It reminds
Man.
me of when Kudo is like say goodbye and like that panel where you see him like travel towards like that like ball of like city. It reminds me of in the
Death
anime
Star
when the One for
Trenchron.
All Stars is like moving around and it like goes into like the current star.
That was totally Death Star Trenchron too.
Yes. This is the laser that Luke shot.
It's
Man, I
also
want
like
season 8 to pop off so bad. Like,
like I know he punched him in his core, but like he punched him to his core.
Yes.
Like
Like he
this.
actually had to penetrate into his blood vessels, into his circulatory system in order to even transfer the quirk.
Yeah.
And even the fact that like Shigaraki was not completely conscious of what's happened, and you see his body is actually immediately reverting to that big form that got fucking thrashed.
Yes.
Because it's like no, protect. He's on an instinctive level. His body is scared of getting hit by Deku here, and it's not fast enough. Which
I mean, end of last chapter, he's like, "Sheesh, dude, I would never guess you were a hero if I didn't know otherwise."
Mhm.
I also love how Shigaraki was going for like a projectile to protect him.
It
like
looks
Deku
like he
dodged.
did. It looks like
So
he did air cannon or
Yes.
something.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Bakugo's explosion, to be honest, but
Yeah,
I
that
know it's
too.
not.
It looks like when he's like flying through the air and he shoots like that, like
Well, I'm reminded of when he
dense
ruptured
explosion.
Bakugo's heart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Deku was giving him a taste of what it felt like because he was ready to cave that boy's chest in. And the thing about it is that depending on how stunned he is, I kind of hope that Deku doesn't make every attack a one for all because then that just gives us a punch counter.
Yes.
I
It's not
would
going to be
much,
that simple.
I'd much
Sure.
rather prefer he like take this chance while he's stunned to throw a couple extra blows that just are high damage attacks
Um,
because if you can keep some of one for all, you should actively try to keep some of
It
it.
would be very similar to
Just for
the second opening of like Dragon Ball Super for the Tournament of Power, where like Goku and Jiren are like fighting back and forth, and it's like Deku trying to get like a one for all smash in to transfer the message, but Shigaraki's dodge. I don't think Shigaraki's going to be stunned for too long because it'd be too easy for him to transfer the sixth.
I think he also is going to divine what Deku's doing pretty soon. Because right now he's just shocked. Because like both him and Deku are seeing the same thing. Like he just saw giant Toga and Dobby, and he saw the sports festival. It's like, what the hell's going on? But he's going to have to clue in.
Yes.
I'm also wondering, I'm not sure if this will happen, but I'm also wondering if maybe Shigaraki actually passes back a quirk as a sort of as a sort of
like
hot potato thing. I don't know if that happens, but I think it's something to consider.
what's funny about that is that I could see him attempting that as a strategy. And the thing is that no matter what quirk he passes on, Deku's gonna have to teach him how to use it. Like, oh, you combined radio, you handed me radio waves because you thought radio waves wasn't gonna do anything. Well, combined radio waves with Black Whip along with Fajin, and then I swung it really hard, and now you're getting fucking fried or something.
Mhm.
I don't know.
The benefit with One for All is that it sort of protects Deku from the overtaxing of multiple
Yeah,
quirks because it's basically just both One for All and All for One are kind of like containers. So Shigaraki, if he did that, he would just be kind of shoving something back in the container, especially now that there's less space, especially now that there's more space, I mean.
It's like transferring a file into a folder. Like you have the folder one for all, and you have subfolders in it. You just toss it in. Like you're not really going to have the whole like, oh, over like when we saw Alpha One like give someone an extra quirk, it would override their brain or fry them. I don't think that will ever happen to Deku.
I also think that a really cool thing about Shigaraki taking Danger Sense is that it kind of has highlighted how it was a good warning system, but in a fight of this caliber, it's actually a bit of a nerf
Yes.
because the smoke screen thing that he did where he like stuck it in place with gear shift caused it to just constantly go off, making it effectively useless information dumping, like just boom, boom, boom. And it's like, all right, cool. Like, I know something's coming, but because it's smoke, it's telling me everything around me is dangerous. This does not actually help. And it's shifted the fight so that while they're both, trying their best, like Deku is effectively on the offensive here. And so it's like getting danger sense inherently forces the person to fight more defensively because their body is constantly telling them to do so. So
Their
getting
brain
that
is
extra,
constantly getting like bombarded by signals. It's like you have to be on the fence.
and it also kind of highlights the selfishness of Shigaraki versus Deku because danger sense compelled Deku to move towards the danger, And Shigaraki, dangerousness with Shigaraki is basically causing him to like stall, delay, and like fall for baits that he probably wouldn't have fallen for, or he would have been, you know, a bit more naturally destructive to or whatever that he, before he got it. So any influence of one for all to Shigaraki is only going to cause him to become a less efficient and more sloppy fighter. Whereas even in the Nagat fight, Deku was like, I was running float, danger sense, black whip, Fajin, and base one for all at the same time, while dealing with Nagat, and then I was running too many things at once, so I cut it down to just black whip, Fajin, and the power up, and now I'm cooking. So I also think Fajin will be, if we do run through the rest of these quirks, Fajin and black whip will be the two at the end. The downside to this is that with Kudo gone, feels like we're not getting any more information about Kudo's past. I'm hoping that Bruce being around until the end will let us get a bit more information on, what happened there. I also think it's interesting that Fajin user's name is just Bruce, but really want to see a bit more of what was going on, especially because Kudo kind of mentioned that like that forcible transfer is something they theorized on.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if he just forced Bruce to take it before he went to fight All for One, or if, Bruce effectively just forced that shit on Shinomori and then was like, by the way, I did this to you. Good luck. Because the first seems a bit more likely than the second, but it could go either way.
I am curious how Shimomori both got and passed on One for All. Because he was was he always a recluse, or did he do that once he realized that there was no way that he would be able to beat All for One?
Which one's Shinomori?
The
Fourth.
fourth.
I think he sensed he was dying and went out into the open again to find a successor.
Yeah, that cat syndrome where you curl up to go die next to your master. See, I'm just kind of rereading the fight right now, just like what we've gotten since.
It's a hell of a final battle, man.
Oh, super
Yeah.
chat from Silvers.
Oh, Silvers. You don't know if I'm gonna be around at the time, so happy real early birthday, brothers, because I'm gonna be out of the country for a while. So cheers.
Oh,
Cheers.
Silvers.
Cheers, man.
And that's a real early happy birthday. But happy
and
birthday to you too, man. Silvers and I actually have the same birthday.
oh, sick.
Yeah. I
And
gotta get back over there
Ponzu
for a
wants
One
you
Piece
to
stream.
activate his mic.
Let's see.
Ooh,
I can
wait.
ask him to unmute, but I don't know if I can
There's a new manga in Shonen Jump, and in one of the pages, I think it's 46, there's a panel where the protagonist is running forward, and it's similar to Deku when he runs towards Bakugo.
Do you want to know why? Because the creator of that series was an assistant to Horikoshi.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Between I think I saw it on Twitter. I think it was between volumes 33 and 39.
Oh, that's sick. That's why the art style kind of reminds me of MHA too,
Yeah,
and the eyes.
the art is so good. And
It
I
looks
read it
stunning.
earlier when I was trying to get on earlier. It was just like it was I'm really excited for that series. It's got a very interesting premise.
Yeah. I'm excited for this. Oh my God.
for a second, I thought it was Wild Strawberry, but also, I'm gonna just say this: a lot of these styles or these plant-based ones are reminding me a lot of Hell's Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna need Shonen Jump to appreciate Yuji Kaku a bit more, because
the chapter's even called Paradise too.
Yeah.
like this style, because I actually have the Dear Enemy chapter open up in front of me right now. Very reminiscent and how it's drawn. Very are missing with Hell's Paradise. So
It gives like
The
who's the
setting
author
being
of
on an
Tokyo Ghoul?
island. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. Don't worry. What are you gonna
Yeah.
say?
I said the setting being on an island, with all these wild creatures, monstrous creatures, that it did made me think of Hell's Paradise.
Mhm.
Cayman Barely, the series is called Dear Anemone.
I will post the wait, can I post links? Are they like
You should be able
accessible?
to.
Like to click into? I'll
Yeah.
post it.
Just try it, dog.
I skimmed through it, and I'll say this, that the art looks fantastic. Uh, uh,
Is this
I-
new?
Yes.
You just
it's a weird series for Jump, honestly. I see this type of thing in other magazines more. But
I
I
mean, Hell's
think,
Hell's Paradise was like online only, like you can access it through the app.
yeah, it
And
feels more like a Jump Plus manga or something in even another magazine. Like I, I'm blanking on them, but like there are a lot of them,
This
honestly.
is gonna sound so weird, but I'm looking at one of the pages and it kind of reminds me of One Piece's art style, just more advanced.
It also gives off like in the detail of like a page like the double page on page 30, I believe. Very similar to Berserk. Just
Honestly,
in
Mm.
the texture of
honestly
the lizard.
it reminded me of Gachiakata.
I haven't actually read Gachi Yakuta. I should.
I haven't read it myself either, but just like the art style of that series,
I
this
can see it in the
reminds me.
characters and honestly.
Yeah. Although I think Shonen Jump is at a point where like they need to try a lot of new things to kind of stay afloat, because once One Piece is gone, it's they're not really gonna have that strong advantage over Weekly Shonen Magazine anymore.
Once One Piece is gone, I don't know if they'll even still do a paper magazine. Like probably, but
I think they'll stick with it for a while, but I think gradually everything is going to move towards digital. And maybe you'll get some like vintage print runs here and there.
yeah,
Mhm.
special issues. But I just can't see because, and it's unfortunate because they do get ad revenue in the physical magazine. So, like from their business perspective, it's unfortunate that they'll probably have to switch to digital only. But I imagine that as long as they keep putting out physical books, and this is an important distinction, they make sure that physical books have things in them that are worth or like exclusive to those physical books. Yes, people will steal it and put it online, but like if you're a collector, you'll want them anyway.
Mhm.
Like all the character pages in My Hero volumes or
yeah,
whatever the case may be, like character pages, explanations, stuff like that. So as long as the mangaka have stuff that's in the volumes, and in general, some people I will say are always going to want to collect physical stuff. And slightly tangential, but whatever. You guys come here for this My Hero, you stay for all of our random takes. Um, I think physical media is superior to digital media,
Yes.
Yep.
and I personally believe that any series or franchise or anything that you are heavily invested in, if you know for a fact there are Blu-rays for it, go buy those now.
Yeah, man.
Even if you don't watch it, keep it. Have it with you. So
Yeah.
if you ever do want to watch it, you have access to it.
Yeah,
Because
man.
if there's one thing you guys should have learned from the Warner Discovery merger, is that you don't, when you buy stuff online, and like I settled for this recently because I fell down the Big Time Rush TikTok rabbit hole, and it was just all these Big Time Rush TikToks, and decided I really wanted to watch BTR. So I was like, all right, I had to bite the bullet and I
That's so
bought the complete
real.
series on digital. But when you buy stuff digitally, you are not actually buying it, you're buying a streaming license. And since you're buying a streaming license, they can technically lose the rights or lose permissions to have access to or take that stuff down at any point. This happened to people who have bought episodes of certain shows on Amazon Prime, and basically you're hoping that stuff never gets taken down.
It just happened
Um,
with Funimation.
yeah, if you bought digital stuff on Funimation, you no longer have it. So I hope you watched it at least twice, all the way through, whatever you bought, because it's gone.
Yeah.
I'd
So
buy DVDs, Cameron.
Yes.
100%. We still have VHS tape, a VHS tapes.
I got a stack of 4K Blu-rays right in front of me. I got a Batman with Robert Pattinson, Dune, Final Fantasy
Yeah.
Advent Children, which I'm going to see in theaters on Wednesday, by the way.
wait, the classic Final Fantasy Ever 7. Hold up.
Advent
That's
Children is re-releasing in theaters, yeah.
motherfucker show.
It's for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in like a week and a half. As a big FF7 fan, yeah. I got the D&D Honor Among Thieves, great movie, really underrated, and Akira. I made sure to get the special 4K for that too.
Let me see. Fandango. Okay.
Does the PS5 play 4K Blu-rays or
Yep.
no? Oh, it
Yep.
does? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, as long as you
didn't-
have a disc slot on your
Mine does, yeah.
Yeah, it's all disappeared, Nisha. I'm sorry. But I love gathering DVDs or Blu-rays. It just I feel much more secure if I have
Yeah.
a copy of it in my room or in the living room.
Yeah.
Like
I got
it's
Lord of
just
the
there.
Rings.
In general, it is, I think it's important to just keep physical media of anything, because a lot of times stream services are just going to keep going on, and when a movie or a video or series has run its course, they're just going to get rid of it. So it comes down to, well, now you have to go through a whole bunch of leaps and bounds to
Yeah,
find
rigmarole.
something you wanted a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it
I
even
got-
goes for video games. Like, if you don't get a video game physical copy, years
got-
down the line, it's gonna be
What's
hundreds of
that?
dollars when it's
We got
just
good old
discounted.
Atla over here, and yes, that
Yeah.
was part of the reason why I ended
Yeah.
up getting the digital Big Time Rush, because I was like, I don't want to pay $200 for
Yeah.
this.
I
disc.
got Atla. I got Atla and Korra on Blu-ray. I got
Mhm.
Lord of the Rings Extended on Blu-ray.
We got Heroes Rising.
I got
Yeah.
all the MHA seasons and movies aside from season 6.
I
Oh, wow.
I have friends who like will
yeah.
use VHS tapes to and like DVDs what's the word? They burn it onto it or something like that. And they just have it in their house. And like if you could do that, I'd highly recommend it if you can't find
Yeah, man.
anything you love as digital media, or if it's not available to you to buy for an affordable price.
I hope that they eventually have a collection for this for MHA afterwards. I know that they have Tankobon for manga when those and they have a special bundle for all that. I wonder if they do that for anime as well.
Like the
'cause I
Dragon
still don't
boxes
own
for
any of
Dragon
the
Ball?
Blu-rays
Yeah,
for
I
MHA.
have the
Yes, like
entire
that.
Dragon Ball Z series on Blu-ray in one big set.
Dude, this has been Bones's main source of income for like the past decade. So you're gonna see them milk the fuck out of this. I'm also expecting down the line, because they're already doing this with One Piece, and they've talked about, and there's speculation they're gonna do it with Naruto. I do anticipate they're gonna readapt MHA into a series of films.
They probably will.
I
Yeah.
know about that.
I mean, that's one of those things where it's like, oh, depending on how you do it, it could be great. It could also suck. Please do it in a way that doesn't suck. That's all.
But
I
at least we
ask.
have the actual anime to go back to. If you don't like it, hey, it's right there. Happily available. That's like the whole outcry and people being upset, which rightfully so, about the Avatar, the new live action with all the interviews coming out. Like for me personally, at least I have Atla to go back to, and like, I can just put it into my
Yeah.
DVD player and watch it just happily, like it's right there.
Until they stop
Yeah.
making DVD players.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to look up how to repair DVD players if need be.
Yep, and that's why I believe like if you buy a console, you should only buy with the disc reader.
Yes.
If you can get the disc of a game, you should get the disc. Like I've made the mistake of buying games without the disc, and now I'm like, damn, like,
I
yeah,
kind of
maybe I'll
wish.
look online at some point and see if I can find like a disc set for that, just so I can go, all right, yeah,
Mhm.
now I got that disc.
Yeah.
Like I'm probably gonna go online at some point. Actually, you know what? I'm doing it right now, just because I've been playing. I had taken a break from playing Kingdom Hearts Final Mix 2 or 2 the Final Mix.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm at the part where I have to fight Roxas, and let me tell you, he is not friendly.
Oh, I nearly rage quit so hard when I was going through that a couple years ago before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out.
I am
man
still I am still amazed I made it through the data fights in Kingdom Hearts 2.
like, ooh, wait,
You
this
gotta
man
you gotta
is.
hop on FS7 Rebirth though, Anarchy. The things I was
Oh, I
doing.
don't have a PlayStation, so that ain't
Oh
happening.
damn.
Yeah, boy,
Yeah.
I'm an Xbox boy.
Really?
That's tragic.
You just not a red-blooded American like me.
I get all the Japanese stuff and also Helldivers, which buddy of mine, I'm sharing that on his account. I've just downloaded that last night.
Are you gonna play Stellar Blade?
Bro, you see me post about Nika. I'm definitely playing Stellar Blade.
I have to see. Sometimes you talk about spoilers, so I have you muted. So I like whenever I look and see your post, I'm actively going to your page just to make sure I get to see. Ooh, what's the crew to dropping? Uh, which I have like half of the people I talk to regularly muted just to avoid uh, spoilers. If I'm honest,
Yeah,
it's
so
a silly sacrifice.
I play Nikke, which is a gacha game, and yes, it's very fan service heavy. Surprisingly, it's also fun to play. Um, and the boss designs for that game, both gameplay wise and the actual bosses themselves, are really freaking good. So I'm actually excited for what they're gonna do with Stellar Blade when you move that into a full console experience. So
Yep, I just saw some of the like. There's a bunch of Stellar Blade controversy, and of course, it was like the cringiest people.
dude, I just don't associate with them at all. It's like,
And I'm
oh
like,
no.
do I think that the whole like she's unrealistic thing is like way overblown? Definitely, definitely. Do I think it's also fair for people to be like, bro, maybe she shouldn't have an outfit where she's naked? Because like I was watching the trailer and I was like, hold on, did I just see bare buns? And like I went back and I was like, no, she is actually butt naked right now fighting this monster. That's probably some outfits you can unlock. But I'm like, bro, okay, that's excessive. But like she's not even crazy cheeked up like people are acting like she is. So it's extra weird. But I'm like, y'all, some of y'all are just mentally
Honestly, she
defensive.
has a fairly realistic
Arms. Like,
yes.
Yeah, she's not like overdone. I've seen some crazy egregious uh bodies in my
hey,
day
my
of
bad.
consuming media. So I'm like, feels overblown.
I'm sorry to hear that, Tanisha. Hopefully you managed to regather that collection.
So all this to say, cherish your physical media, even when your friends yell at you that you don't have a digital for them to download as well.
Yes, physical media will always reign supreme.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I got Persona 3 physical. I'm getting FF7 Rebirth physical. The
I
steelbook the
I
steelbook
tend to. Oh,
versions
sorry.
from Best Buy at that, and also Stellar Blade in a few months.
Oh,
How the
What's
fuck do
going
we draw,
on?
Thomas?
That looks fun.
Thomas, you fucking lied to me. You said I could draw on this shit.
Yeah, I also said don't click it.
You think I was listening to you once you told me what it does?
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, get off this. This is your fault, Thomas.
Y'all wild, you uncouth individuals.
Yeah, no, that is too much power for one person. So
I think
denied.
it is.
I will admit, like when it comes to video games, I tend to just do digital for that. But
It's just something to keep in the back of your mind, really. It's like,
Yeah.
if you can
Depends.
get this physical,
Go for it.
yeah.
This
Yeah, I mean-
physical stuff, unfortunately, also has its own lifeline. Like there are ancient video game consoles now that just won't work anymore.
Yep.
Cartridges too. It's sad, but time flies. Yeah, I would go for physical if you can. But just be careful. Sometimes it's kind of an exercise in futility.
Also, don't go on websites that are suspicious.
Definitely don't.
And if you can't afford it, go for it. That's my advice.
But yeah, I just had to get that out just because I think that, hell, for all, like at any moment, any site that, yo ho ho's could be taken down, and then you don't get that.
Yeah, no, absolutely take charge and and really carefully consider getting things like that, physical copies. Plus, especially in the case of anime, it does support directly the studio who made it for you, as opposed to a streaming service where they just get, a cut. Same with manga volumes, actually. Like if you have a favorite manga sensei and you want to support them, buying the volumes gets them the biggest return for your investment, I should say.
Speaking of buying manga volumes, I was one of those people. I bought and imported Kagurabachi's first volume.
Crazy.
Yeah, and it was
No.
the first time I imported. I was not expecting to have an actual book jacket for one. And it was actually smaller.
Hey, fucking yo. What is this comment in chat? Aniki, you got some fetish I don't fucking know about?
Oh,
No.
wow.
Who's
look at
Smurfette? What the hell is that? The Cool Toad vlogs.
Huh. Okay.
Didn't know you and Smurfette were a thing. Jesus.
Don't tell my wife.
But yeah, the Kagurabachi's first volume is the only one I've imported. I don't know if I'll be able to keep on doing it. Because I paid like 3 times as much in shipping than I did for the actual book. But it was actually smaller than I was expecting. I took a picture comparing it size-wise to the first volume of My Hero, and it wasn't like a significant difference, but it was definitely smaller.
What the?
Are you looking at the?
No, like my Twitter opened up and it was like the CW's Brad Schwartz says the decision to end Superman and Lois.
Oh, I know. I
Lois
saw
role
that.
to not have
Yeah,
the scenes
man.
conflict with Superman Legacy.
That's
I'm
so
like,
stupid.
they don't want a competing Superman product in the marketplace. Okay,
Batman gets countless like competing products, but Superman, the head hero of DC, the most iconic superhero of all time, can't have competing content. And
hold
I
on.
championed Superman
Thomas.
Lois. Hmm?
Competing product is a bullshit phrase.
Yes.
And I say this because if I like Superman,
You're gonna watch as much Superman as you can.
and there's Superman and Lois, and there's Superman Legacy, and I'm gonna, like you just said, I'm gonna watch it all.
Listen,
I'm not gonna be like, man, I gotta choose between the two Superman shows. Like,
Oh,
Monday, only
listen. Hey,
only
Ponzi,
Monday exists. Like, no.
Listen, as like a fan of Superman Lois, I will say it's the best superhero product that the CW has ever put out. It's really, really good, and I recommend people to watch it. But that breaks my heart.
I
Yeah,
mean,
What
man.
do you
They're
mean you're
really
going to end
giving
it
more
because it's competing?
content.
I mean, I
Well,
like.
are they canceling Superman and Lois?
Yeah.
Superman and Lois is ending
No,
really shortly. We only have one season of it
Yeah,
left.
it's
no,
it's pretty dumb. Like that's
this was really
that's the
good.
influence of Zaslav at work there.
You know, Zaslav can go feck off.
People definitely only want one product. Like they don't want.
It blows my mind because they give Batman freaking everything. Like he's
That's
got
Yeah,
he's
true.
got
Superman
he's
better.
got a he's got a second independent movie universe now following Christopher Nolan's. There's going to be an
Oh
animated
man.
there's going to be an animated Arkham series, which I can't remember if that's in Robert Pattinson's universe or
The
in the other
Arkham
one.
one
Is
is
in
the
the,
video games
no. The
from the
Arkham one is
Batman.
in the no. The Arkham one. The Arkham animation is in the Robert Pattinson world, I think so. Because I
Why?
remember they were, yeah, because they were about to. From what I remember, Matt Reeves wanted to expand his series to in series television and animation. He wanted to do that. He wanted to have his own universe where he can do his stuff. So I remember that he was about to do that. Uh, oh man, because Superman and Lois, I didn't watch the second season, but because I finished the first one, I really love the series. Literally, the Superman, seeing Superman as a father, I was really a good thing to see. A good thing to see, and the fact that he was and the struggles that they had to find in the story, in the Superman and Lois series, I really loved it. So I would have loved to binge it at once, but if they gonna stop it for the Superman Returns, is it that one that the Superman of
They don't want Superman Legacy to have a competitor. They want all eyes on Superman Legacy, which is just so silly. Like we also
I
have
hope
Adventures
that's
with Superman as well. That is like gonna get another season. So does that get cancelled?
it might be
Oh,
because
that's
the
so
thing is
mad. That makes me mad.
you know one but these animations most of the time they don't give attention to that. The thing about is like there there were there was a Superman in the works. I don't know if they canceled it or not. A black Superman in the 50s. That was a concept that they had.
Hmm.
Oh man, literally, I'm happy that they go back to the original Superman. You know what I mean? Because I really wanted to see a good movie of him, like not try the movie of Superman as Superman being the bringer of hope in a positive way. Like he's a cool dude, Superman. Superman is he's the biggest fan of Jesus. You know what I mean? So just seeing that guy, I would have loved to see that. So yeah, so the Superman legacy stuff, I'm curious if it will be a Superman like this. But I really love the Superman in Superman Lois. He was a good, yeah, he was the good guy, the good guy, taking care of his family, doing his job. I love that. I really love that aspect of the guy and trying to be the best father that he could. You know what I mean? Because being
Yeah.
a father is not easy. And seeing that Superman, the guy that we always see as the best thing in the world, struggles with that problem of being a father, trying to take care of his child, giving to try to teach them stuff. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was really amazing. But
I'm looking at the comments of this tweet that was put out by Superman Lois. I'm so proud. Like the majority of it are people defending Superman Lois. We're in a great timeline right now. Because
yeah,
I remember a time when people dogged on Superman Lois. So I'm happy to see a turnaround. It just sucks.
Man,
Because like
I
it was
only saw the
already
first
going
app.
through
Oh, sorry.
issues.
I
Oh
only
no,
saw the
you're fine.
first. I only saw the first episode, and I did like it. I just didn't have time to keep up with it.
That's fair.
And it was like I just knew it was part of the CW Arrow
Yes.
Flash
Yep.
thing until it wasn't anymore.
Yeah, they retconned it.
Okay.
They were in our own universe. We ain't connected.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to season 4, so you'll have that much content to the binge if you feel like it.
Going to season 4. So how was season 2 and because I watched season 2 till the middle. And how was season 3 and season 2 and 3 at the end? They were better than season 1 or
No, it's every season is much better than last.
oh okay,
Like it
good to
keeps
know.
improving.
Good to know. So,
It's like the spiritual successor of Smallville, and if anyone has watched it, if you like Smallville, you're gonna find a lot of comfort in it.
okay. Yeah, it's because you follow his kids in his school, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So you see them there's the Smallville effect,
Mhm.
but having Superman too, because I remember back in the day when I was a child, there was already a series called Superman and Lois. The old version, but the old version. But there you saw Superman more as a journalist too.
Mhm.
It was oh man, I'm a guy. I'm a boys of the '90s, so I was watching this when I was a child. So yeah, it's great. It's great. It's great.
Mhm.
But yeah, uh, uh, I didn't have the chance to hear about the chapter. I want to talk about the chapter because I have things to do, so I can stay long. But yeah, the My Hero Academia chapter today was, I will say, it felt like an Hunter x Hunter chapter, a little bit, uh, because of the text, the amount of text that we had. I love the art. I love the art. The art was amazing, and the strategies are really good. So I really love what uh, the yeah the thing about Deku being not treating these quirks as his own, like his own quirk. They transformed it in the story as a beneficial because it was detrimental to him for the most time of the story that the quirks that he saw quirks not that he didn't see quirk as his quirk that he had uh as something that he as something like your arm, you know what that was a big problem for him. He saw them as like these sacred swords, like the Excalibur, you know what I mean? Something that he has to he put it in a pedestal and it had a lot of problem in his growth because of it. But now we see that that aspect makes him treat them make them more thinking about how to use it correctly and correctly but in the creative ways, I would say like this. It's quite cool. So yeah, I really love that, and I can't wait to see how it will end at the end because right now the story is dragging on. We feel it a little bit that the end is nearing and it is not appreciate. It's not. I'm not appreciating how it's ending in the way. It's not like I'm not feel happy by it. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, uh, I'm curious what Horikoshi would do for the last chapters. But yeah, that was it for me. What do y'all think about this chapter, guys? By the way, hello.
Hello. I really, really like this chapter. I went to a lot of depth about how it really shines. Hori manages to encapsulate who Deku is, as a person and as a hero. Um, I mentioned it with in regards to how N is perceiving Deku currently. Um, it kind of comes across like the community who are hating on N, like that criticism is like shining or blending with the manga, and like N can hear it because he's putting himself down. What was it last chapter where he was like, "I'm the most useless right now, so why don't you put me forward and not Gear Shift?" Seeing N have that turnaround where he's like, "My quirk can be useful." That's because Deku has a very intimate like connection to quirks. And seeing him like I made a joke about it on Twitter where it's like, yeah, N is added to the Deku fanboys, like that little club. Like he's a part of that now, alongside Ochiko, All Might, Kota, Eri, Katsuma, and the like. I'm just really curious on what new memories we'll see or what past events that will pop up. Like Deku reaching out the Bakugo when he was in the water, Deku arriving to save Ida and saying, the iconic line. Or what memories, or like the Deku in Class 1A fight, like stuff that really show who Deku is as a hero and as a person for Shigaraki to see. But yeah,
Are we doing our last rounds?
I assume so.
I don't know. I'm just drawing some cursed shit.
I like ours. Annika, you here?
I'm like, you better be here because I'm drawing something for him.
Oh, a present just for Aniki. To show him how much you mean to him.
No, I'm drawing Smurfette.
Oh yeah, because of the comments.
So
Jeff,
what I
it was
said,
Kino Kaiser.
I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
Yeah, because they
Well-
were in the tree, Kissind.
Mm.
So this might be a good time to mention. I'm probably not going to be around for the next week's chapter. I am helping my parents move.
No.
All right. Well, good on you for helping them, and best of luck.
Yeah, best of luck to them.
Yeah, it's actually good. Well, I mean, they're actually going to be closer. They're going from almost 2 hours away to just over an hour away. So
Nice.
Oh, let's go. You have a much
Yeah.
like shorter drive to meet them.
yeah, which is nice because they are taking care of my dog because of my work schedule.
Mhm. But as a question to everyone, if you had to choose a panel or a page in this chapter, what stuck out to you the most?
Oh, with
gosh.
Deku's back. I think that is a sexy panel. I like the back muscles for that.
Mhm.
Oh,
Or
when
do that amazingly.
when he punched Shigaraki.
Yes.
Yeah. I like when Deku is super muscular.
Yeah, in
What
fact,
about
one of the few panels that I saw ahead of time was that one, and it wasn't really the tweet wasn't really about that. It was about how fanfic writers tend to depict Deku.
and as really skinny,
Yeah,
like early days Deku. Yeah, I saw
yeah.
that too. Um, but yeah. What about you, Seth? Was there any panel in this chapter that like you were, wow, this is spectacular?
Several?
Real.
Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to pick one. There are so many good ones here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going through it. And part of me is thinking is like, I know that the assistants help out with some of these effects, and I'm just like, whoever did that, the one where Shigaraki is getting punched, or immediately after it, where you see Kudo's spark explode, and just the way that lines up with Shigaraki, I really like how that looks. Like it does remind me of a space battle for some reason, the Vestige world.
Mhm.
But I really like how that's drawn, those effects and everything. But there are a lot of better drawn panels, but I just really like this page where like you see Shigaraki's expression and everything. Like there's this moment of just shock and such. I don't know. It's just a really it's striking is what it is, I guess.
I'm gonna
But it's
bring
not even
back
the best one. It's just one that stands out to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring back up the chapter because there was one panel I really liked, and I wanted to just make sure I get right. Oh yeah, well, it's technically two panels. It's like a full page thing. It's when they're leaping at each other over the trees, and this is where
Yes.
and Shigaraki says, "I kill you," and Deku says, "I transfer it."
Yes.
And
Okay. Can I say something?
go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay, so no, this page is really, really cool. It's another one of those pages that's like, these are the stakes, actually. Because, like, remember, Shigaraki, this in the page before, Shigaraki and Deku are looking at each other. Deku's looking right at Shigaraki, but Shigaraki's gaze falls down to Mount Fuji. And we know what Mount Fuji represents. Like, Mount Fuji represents all that heroes have to protect. That's the course of society right there. And so when they clash here, this is where I kill, and this is where I pass on. So, like, the characters are thinking in the moment, but like just the way, and I especially like how it reads in Japanese because it's a bit more vague. Whereas in English, it's like I kill you, and in English, it's like I transfer it. But in
Mhm.
Japanese, it's vague. It's just this is where I kill, or excuse me, I destroy, and this is where I pass on. Like those two ideas are at the heart of this whole societal battle for the
Mhm.
future. So this is a stakes setting page, and I really love it.
I love it when in manga, or at least like fiction in general, where like two characters like what they're thinking themselves or saying, they blend together. It's very like Hori did this before with Deku and Ida versus Stain, where it's like with my fist, with my leg. And it's like it's such a cool way to like I don't know, I just really like it. But yeah, that's a really beautiful page.
Seth,
Yeah,
I
it's
was wondering something.
Sure.
Since I know you are like you have knowledge of the Japanese language, so
少し話せます。
I was scared because I've been trying to learn Japanese with Duolingo, and through that I know that Hito means person. So does Mahito mean bad person?
I actually don't know the kanji for Mahito's name, but I mean, yes. If it's the Ma that I'm thinking of, like it's usually demonic in connotation. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, it's the same. It's used in a variety of words. Like I think magic uses it as
yeah,
well.
like Maho.
Yeah. So if it's that one, yeah, like just demonic person, Mahito. Yeah, that's how you would read it, and it's a very simple and effective name in Japanese. Like
Yeah,
typically
no,
the
because
names are
it
always on point in manga.
yeah, yeah, they tend to be very nail on the head. But
Extremely
yeah, it just because it just sort of dawned on me that like Hito is person, his name is Mahito, he is a curse based on people. I was just wondering if that's exactly what it was, and it sounds like it might be, but I was
if you
just curious.
if
So
you can
Mahito's is I think it translates to Masato, which means true person. Um like if you grab the I think it's the kanji and you toss it into Google Translate like I just did, because I'm a pleb, it just translates to Masato.
funny.
And putting that in
Yeah.
true person.
Yeah, Japanese is interesting in that like you can have characters and well, especially in pop culture, they will just take the kanji and give it either a completely different reading than what is within the realm of expectations. Sometimes you can like match it. Um but like you'll have a word that's like what's it? Well, for example, if I were being edgy, you could have a character's name be cremation in English, but the
Mhm.
characters just read dabi, which is the Japanese. So it's like you'll have stuff like that where they'll just play with the pronunciations in whatever way they think is cool. Or
Right.
sometimes they'll call back to a completely different word to get multiple meanings in there. That's not just the kanji. So like shonen use of kanji is incredibly
I mean,
incredibly deep
just a
and
couple chapters ago,
convoluted.
we had the craziest hero in history, but it almost looks like the greatest hero in history if you look at it.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then there's the even more subtler play, I think, with how Tomura and Ototo, they look very similar kanji wise. Um, they're literally just missing a line. So like there are all kinds of ways you can play with kanji and such. So it's fascinating, but it's honestly a headache. Like it's like Japanese is gatekeeping itself.
Actually,
Um,
that's a great way to describe it.
but it's fun. I really do enjoy it. Uh, just yeah, I'm taking my studying at my own pace right now. I do want to get my at least my N2 certification either this year or next.
What are you planning to do with it?
Honestly, that's why I've been dragging my feet on it so long because I don't really have a plan for it. It's just I've like studied it as a hobby throughout my life, and so I figure I should work towards something. But honestly, for now, I'm actually focusing more on other career options. So I'm not really looking at like translating or anything. But in terms of hobbies, though, it's like, well, you see all the translation drama online, right? Over fan translation and viz translation and what's actually
Yeah.
better, what is not. Even
I've
in this
I've seen
chapter,
some, yeah, I've seen drama about I've, I've seen drama about Persona 3 Reload's translation, and it's like,
yeah,
oh man, she said her skin was white in
yeah, that
Japanese. Isn't it racial? I'm like, bro, that doesn't sound right in English. That's the
it
reason she doesn't
it
say it.
no, it doesn't. But it's that's just a cultural gap issue, and those are it's difficult because when you're bringing something over from east to west, there's a values difference, and there are things you can say, even if they're innocent, right? Like, just the Japanese do like fair skin. The girls really try hard to um, cover up during the hotter seasons so that they can uh, dress down in the colder seasons. I mean, you can say what you will about that, I guess, but it's not like it's intended to be a racial element per se, you know. But because of how it reads, then yeah, you'll have someone will just have the idea to localize it, and I don't know, it is an it really is a nothing burger to me because it's meant to be an innocent comment regardless.
Mhm.
So like okay, it wasn't like literally one to one, but they just didn't want to include any implications that exist in English that do not exist in Japanese. Um,
I
when
think it's
people make comments
hilarious
like that,
that I went
right?
to the bathroom and came back to a conversation based on a tweet that I also saw.
Oh, hi. Yeah, no. Basically, yeah, like you could translate something literally, but it could carry connotations in English that it doesn't in Japanese. So sometimes you change the English phrasing to get rid of the connotations, but people will interpret that differently for what interpret it however they will, I guess. Um, it's always a tricky subject, localizing stuff. Um,
That's why they have whole teams dedicated to it and not just a single person doing everything.
yeah, personally, I prefer translation notes because I like being exposed to like the other culture's ideas. But obviously, if you're playing a game or watching a show, you don't want to see
Yeah.
like a whole footnote on top of the screen talking about what
Yeah.
such and such actually means.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
There was one fan sub of a show that I did see where they put the translation notes like at the end of the episode. So that way, like it still provided it, but it wasn't cluttering the screen.
That's actually a good compromise.
Yeah, it is.
yeah, I like that
Sometimes I
approach.
remember back in like the old days of like people use YouTube to watch anime, and like the subtitles will be like um for different dialogue just plastered everywhere where you can't really see the characters, and it'll cover up like really minute details that you should be seeing. Um, it's like if we had that more, or at least like an option on streaming services where like I'm pretty sure on Max or Prime, depending on like the character who shows up, it'll show like the actor.
HBO Max. I
HBO
refuse.
Max, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's Prime.
I
It is on
Oh,
refuse
it's
to
Prime
Prime?
call
too.
it.
Okay,
I
that's fair.
refuse to call it Max. HBO Max or bust.
Mhm. Fair. But yeah, on Prime, I used to see that because my friend would stream it, because we don't have HBO Max or Prime. So shows like I think Invincible, I'd have to like watch with people and it'd just show up on the
Oh,
screen
oh,
like the actors.
so like watch parties and stuff.
Yeah. But the it's built into the
Into the
actual
service.
service, yeah. Or it helps you know, oh, this voice actor is so and so. I think if that was the case for a lot of anime, it'd be a lot more digestible.
definitely true though. Like the heavily influences like how people, because I think a lot of people, part of it is, oh, the culture war, blah blah blah, like
Yeah,
people just
yeah.
being kind of weird, but there is a legitimate like desire to like,
Gosh.
hey, I want to know what they're actually trying to say, like what they're talking about, and that's fair. Like what the intended meaning behind it is wanting to know that, like that's cool, but I think the way people go about it is so strange,
Mhm.
and like the oh, it's a big agenda, and like no, bro, like are there some translators who have said some weird stuff? Definitely, but that's not the whole purpose or design or what people were doing with localization to begin
Yeah.
with. It was trying to make sure things, like if it was actually that egregious, these Japanese companies wouldn't be allowing it. And the fact that many Japanese, or like we've had people recently come online and straight up say like, no, localizers really do help make sure things make sense and we're communicating things we want to be communicating. If people are just kind of ignoring that, it goes to show that like as much as they say like, oh, localizers haven't, like no, bro, you're the one with the agenda, and you're upset when certain things that you believe aren't corroborated within the series you consume.
Anarchy,
What's up?
you should check the bishop circle.
Okay. Wait, Discord. You guys are grounded. You guys are all grounded.
Why am I grounded?
I take it guy already finished that drawing that he
Yes.
mentioned he was working on.
Yes, he did.
Hey, why do
Bookmarks. I'm sick.
arf arf arf?
Grounded coyote. Take away his pen.
Oh,
But
man.
while I went to the bathroom, I was thinking we were headed towards closure.
Wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I figured I'd let you guys do that while I went to the bathroom and get your final thoughts or start cooking towards your final thoughts. And it sounds like that's kind of what happened. So,
Mhm.
Seth, starting with you, final thoughts on the chapter? Is Seth still here? Did I just accidentally ask Seth to do something he can't do?
Oh, sorry, no, my mic was off.
Okay.
Whoops. No, yeah, I'll try not to repeat anything I've already. Well, I'll repeat some of it, but
It's fine. Don't worry. Don't worry.
yeah.
Go off.
So this is a chapter that I feel like sets up a celebration of everything MHA has written up until now. The memory part is definitely like this is such a good chapter all around, but the memory part is just such a huge um shift in the direction of the fight where just through this fight they are connecting deeper and deeper. And I just think that's so cool and so good. Like I'm really excited to see what memories or excuse me, what memories Horikoshi will draw from and how that will be overlaid onto the action. That was the theme. That's the theme of this chapter, sort of the overlaying. Like you have the initial strategy with Deku outsmarting Shigaraki and using the quirks to his advantage, literally, the overlaying part of the fight. But then you have like this actual their memories coming together, and as the quirks connect on that psychological level, you you see these memories come out, sharing with each other. So it's such a cool way to bring these characters closer together, and that's what I'm really excited for. Overall, like that's my main takeaway. Other than the part of the chapter that's really about Deku, this is a Deku chapter, and it's a really good one. It frames his love of quirks really well. It ties it directly to his heroism and what makes people like Deku so much. Because quirks remember are symbols of people's individuality. So when Deku is talking about how much he likes quirks, it's like he's saying, wow, this part of you is really special and cool. And that's the kind of thing that gets to end during this chapter. And that's why he's inspired to line right up at the end of it, where it's like, all right, let's do it. I can still help you here. Let's keep it up while Shigaraki is still shocked. Like you see that effect immediately in this chapter. It's such a subtle thing that happened over the course of it, right? Because N is still very much a side character. Like if you're not paying attention, you're not seeing it, unfortunately. But still, it's such a strong Deku chapter in that regard, showcasing really the best qualities of him, both his love of quirks manifests as into like that calculating personality that lets him outsmart Shigaraki, despite Shigaraki have significant um what's it like just on paper, like Shigaraki has so many detection abilities, and Deku was able to actually flip the script on him, using them to his advantage because he knows how they work too. And that's just so cool. I love it when it's like, I remember you're playing a card game and you know your opponent's strategy, so you can counter them because you know what they're trying to do. And that's just sort of that's just the sort of mind games that I really like. So Deku is literally hitting Shigaraki with the best of what he has, both as a person and as, of course, a hero, as someone gifted with power. So that's my takeaway from the chapter. And of course, Horikoshi's art is amazing. The scale of the fight is awesome with the black chain, the way Deku's forcing his body to move. It's all so raw, and but also it has so much rawness but so much heart at the same time. It's one of the best chapters in this arc easily. And that's all I have to say for now. So thanks for having me as always.
Always glad to have you on. Joseph, would you like to go?
Okay. This, like I said, like this chapter, like really wowed me, and I think, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of that is because I came into this chapter largely fresh, not knowing pretty much anything about it other than that one panel of Deku Punch and Shigaraki. So I was just able to take it all in, and it was just great to. I'm really looking forward to see like what memories we're gonna see from them, like how they're gonna be paralleled, because like Deku and Shigaraki have always had a parallel growth, and it's gonna be fun to see. It's gonna be fun to see them see that with their memories, and I'm just really looking forward to it. And I mean, I mentioned this while you were away on. I keep out. There's a good chance I'm not going to be around next week because I'm helping my parents move.
All right. Well, I was wondering what that conversation came from with the not paying for movers, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
So I was kind of curious where that came from. So that explains that. All right. Well, good luck with that. Try not to throw out your back.
yeah,
You know, we're not 25 anymore, so we can't be taking those blows.
yeah.
Uh,
Especially me.
Coyote.
I mean, shoot, there's not much a very brain dead person can really give that is intellectually comparable to what these people have said. All I can really say is this was a very nice chapter, and I do have a message for the chat. Whoever it was that sent that Smurfette message, I don't know what prompted you to say that in specific, but keep it up. I adore these ideas you give me. I enjoy messing with people, so you're cooking for me, okay? So I
What
need
did
you.
they
Chat,
do?
step it up. I need you to give me slander. That is all. Step it up, chat. Give me slander.
Do not step it up, chat. Do not give him slander.
The cool toads, don't come back, please.
Please come back. I don't even know who that is. He just gave me material.
I clicked on this page. He has a single video up.
No, he has
Uh,
more. He has more. He has like
Oh.
a bunch of them. It's all shitposts.
All right, well, we'll do with that what we will. Volk.
This is really just the exciting and pathos-filled final battle that I've been envisioning for many years now. I love the back and forth of quirks. I love the emotional, psychological aspect to it. These are two characters who really, when you get down to it, the whole manga basically revolves around the two of them. So seeing them gradually coming to understand each other in a way that nobody else really does. I mean, like Deku has the vestiges and all, but I think the circumstances are a little different there because, Shigaraki and Deku grew up basically in the same world. They were just sent on entirely different paths. And the visuals are amazing. The way Kudo just like shoots right into that mental scar of Shigaraki's, and you see the reaction afterwards, and the hand armor is back. I love the hand armor. It's so cool. Um, I'm prepared for some pretty strong feels. I was worried that it could come off as too sappy, was my thing, but I think Horikoshi is striking a good balance where there is still a very strong emotional undercurrent, but it's still first and foremost a battle. Um, and I'm not quite sure what Shigaraki's state of mind is going to be exactly once that wall of hate is breached. We're gonna have to see. I I'm just glad to see that Horikoshi has taken time during these breaks to really cook, and like I mean, he draws chapters like 3-4 weeks in advance and everything, but uh he is taking advantage of it. Really well done. And just as these are my two favorite characters in the series, so to see them being handled this way is really reassuring. Full marks for me. I really love where this is all going. I'm sure we're going to get some more crazy quirk shenanigans next week, unless he takes another break, which I hope he doesn't, but we'll see. Uh, Excellent job as always. Really strong send off we're heading towards here. And yeah, I can't wait to read the rest.
All right. And Thomas, take us home.
So we have a death of a character in this series, and we should all, pray for Gran Torino's cape. It got decayed, it's gone, but because Deku's Deku, he had a point to it, and it was to trick Shigaraki in order to, punch him in the chest just like he did to Vestige for one. And I think it was such a sick idea, like banking on the idea that Search has like a fail. It's a very strong quirk, and it doesn't have much weaknesses, but Deku managed to find one. He managed to exploit it, and I think that's sick. Um, I think one of my favorite panels in this chapter specifically is I believe it's on page 9, where you see Shigaraki like growing the hands on his like face. It's such a beautiful like panel of Shigaraki, and I really like it. But overall, not to repeat what everyone said, I think the chapter is amazing. One of the best in this arc, if not, in my opinion, in the series, probably top 20. It's not even maybe top 14. Regardless, I'm just glad to see Deku being at his like peak in regards to his like knowledge, his intelligence, his battle IQ. He really smarted Shigaraki, and I'm glad to see it. I also am one of the few that wasn't bothered by the heebie-jeebies line. I thought it was funny. Um, overall, great chapter. A lot of really good feats and like for the power scalers and the meatheads in the community. Like like Deku thinking in advance to pick up like a big chunk of the earth in order to stop Shigaraki from decaying the ground and by proxy Mount Fuji. Um, no one does it like Deku. But regardless, it was a great chapter. Can't wait for next week. Hopefully we're not on a break like Volk said. But if we are, I hope Hori does get extra break or extra time to rest and even give us another sketch like he did with the Momo one. But yeah, great chapter. I can't wait to see more. And make sure to like the stream and drink some water if you haven't. And eat some food as well. Stay safe.
This is especially right. Make sure you're drinking water, eating food, taking care of yourself. We'll see you guys when the next chapter drops, guaranteed. Make sure you're reading multiple series just because it's always good to have multiple genres and experiences in your life. Try to have fun. Love your families if they're decent to you. If they're not,
Don't just read JJK and One Piece. Branch out.
Yeah,
Don't slander my goat.
It's not even slander. It's important to read other
To
series.
branch out.
You don't need to branch out when you got the goat on your side.
Are you talking about goat Gege?
I love Gege.
Gotsu Kaisen?
Gege.
Or what was it? Gotsu Gotsen? Is that what they call
Yes, yes.
Gotsu Gotsen?
Come up with more female characters, only to do nothing with them. Go on. Keep going.
But yeah. You guys all take care. We're glad that you came